Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Goodest cast. And on this episode, I have Gregg Bucell from Koruworks. We sit down at the shop in Georgia, talk shop, talk about Monster Jam, talk about drifting, talk about FD in 60 seconds, which he does and is probably my favorite thing to come of FD in the last couple of years. We talk about FD spotting, what makes a good spotter, what could change in FD. We talk about drifting, we talk about cool cars. He's got a very sick S13. We talk about pretty much anything and everything. There's some really funny stories in there. It's a great episode. I'm glad we got to do it in person. I was cracking up. Gregg Bucell, check it out. Before this episode starts, I just want to say thank you guys. This year's been insane. We've put out a ton of podcasts. We've put out a ton of merch. If you came to a Final Bout round and bought Goodest Co., I appreciate you. If you bought it online, I appreciate you. If you listen to the podcast, I appreciate you. It's been growing. If this is your first one, thank you for being here. Definitely stick around. 2025 is going to be crazy. We have some really, really good podcasts recorded already. I've had some time to reflect. This is the last one of 2024. The support and appreciation we've gotten from everybody has just been amazing. And I just want to say thank you for anybody who's hit play, showed it to a friend, talked shit about it, posted it on their story. We brought Julius on to help with like social media stuff and editing, and Laura's been helping me engineer and doing a lot more of these in person and traveling, and it's been pretty crazy, but it's also been really exciting. And I just want to say thank you for riding with us. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being Goodest. Love you guys.
Two Red Bulls, 3 Zens. I'm good to go. Sit me down. I've been waiting for this moment for a minute.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
For me to show up with all my random shit in a suitcase and Laura and I to put a set together
in the shop. Let's go.
Have you done an in-person podcast before?
No, not truly. I've never done a one-on-one in-person podcast.
Sick.
So I'm like really hyped at this. It does. It feels this is as close to Joe Rogan as I'll ever get.
Yeah. Sick. Someone called me Drift Game Joe Rogan on a story one time.
What a compliment.
And I was like, damn, that's really crazy. Like, that's a wild, wild compliment.
I mean, he's the best, isn't he?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Fuck.
Congratulations.
Thanks,
King.
Yeah.
God bless, King. Bring back calling each other kings, please.
I do it.
Thank God.
I do it. I just did it trying to promote a fucking sponsor on
Did it
one
work?
of my stories. I don't know. I was like, what's up, kings? I don't know your like origin story and your like, you know, drifting backstory. So let's start. There's a lot to unpack here. We got a lot of stories. I got like 10 amazing stories before I even started this fucking podcast. So let's start there and we'll see what fucking comes up.
Oh man. Hey guys, I'm Gregg Bucell. I manage Koruworks with a group of very, very talented people, and we're fortunate enough to run a drift shop. It's everything I've ever wanted to do as a child. Like it's the shop that you get with your Hot Wheels cars and you park your Hot Wheels cars at and stuff. That shop is what I got to build. And I got all of our favorite cars here. It's got all of my favorite friends here. And yeah, but how I got here, I was into Hondas. Hondas were like my love. I had like cool EKs and EGs and Integras, and I was like, this is it. This is the life. And with Hondas, like if you put a nice front lip on your Honda and you immediately crack it, it's kind of like end of the world. It is like the worst scenario because you're like, you can't ride around. If your Honda's clean enough, you can't ride around with a busted lip. Absolutely not. And then I got a 240 as a daily to my Honda. I was like, whatever, I'll just like drive this hoopty around. It was like a $1,500 hatch. And I was like, screw it. And, I don't know, because I was dumb. I was like, I'll put a kit on it and 5 lug and stuff, and I'm still just going to treat it as my daily. And we painted it. And as I'm pulling out the paint booth, grab my front bumper on the lip, and it just like breaks in 3 pieces. Like immediately. We just painted it. And I'm coming from the Honda scene again, like
end of the world.
Everything's end of the world. And all my friends around me who were drifters at the time are just like laughing. They're like, All right, are you gonna move now? Like, keep on going, and like that mentality was something that I actually in the moment, it was like a switch. It was a switch. I was like, okay, I think this is what I'm more. I don't like the OCD world of like car show, only driving the car a few times, going to like your core events, the iBox, the Import Alliance, stuff like that. And it's the Honda guys, it's such a small group. Like drifting small, but the Honda community in this like upper echelon is super small. Like God bless them, but like is Joey? But like there's just this group, especially of NorCal guys that really started this like beautiful Honda scene, and they're like kind of the presidents. And then you have like little pockets here and there that kind of copy what they do. In drifting, I just saw a Prelude was doing a comp with Chelsea Denofa this weekend. A dude in a front wheel drive Prelude is doing a comp with Chelsea Denofa this weekend, and Jimmy Oaks and.
Where?
Oh, I don't know. I got really excited. This was like 10 minutes ago. I couldn't wait to tell you, but now I'm telling you on the podcast. Like, I wanted to like run to you with this post and be like, there's a Prelude doing a comp event. But now I'm doing it. Yeah. Yeah. But so that mentality, I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. And I've always been a fan of drifting. I knew exactly what it was. But yeah, Hondas. And for a job I worked for a company called S3 Magazine. And I was an associate editor, and I'm like I cannot spell worth a damn. Like
me either.
Yeah, I cannot. But I was good at storytelling, so I was a writer for them, and I sold ads and just kind of really immersed myself in like just car culture as a whole for this magazine. So yes, I was aware of drifting and everything it had, and I just never finished my Honda project. Come to find out, like the car I bought was my daily. I like went headfirst into, never touched my Honda again. Sold it as a shell.
Damn.
Yep. It's just so much more fun. I mean, and to each their own, of course, like, but there's something about the drift community that just not many other car communities have.
Yeah.
Lowrider truck, whatever it is, and it's just wild sense of camaraderie. It's really only matched at like your skate park.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What like was your drift community? Like, where did you start out? Like in the US? Like, who were your peers at the time?
It's wild because it's the same group of friends I have now. It's the same exact group. Like Sebastian works here with me at Koruworks, and he was at my very first drift event as a spectator, and he was a driver. And then the very first drift event I ever drove, he was the corner worker. And I'm coming around the corner, and Sebastian's like, dude, he lives for drifting. And it's my first drift event, man. I'm not that great. But he was watching me all day struggle with a course, and he had like this like pom-pom in his hand. And when I finally linked like 2 turns, I've never seen someone so hyped on me before. Like it's so wild. It's not like there's a
skate park energy.
Skate park energy. It's like I just nailed a trick.
Yeah.
And to me, I felt it in the car. And then I'm like, I nailed it. And then immediately I see him with the pom-pom jumping up and down. I'm like, and again, like another switch.
I'm fucking transcending right now.
Yeah. I'm never looking back. Drifting is it. And I think there's this moment when like you make your first or you link your course and it's proper and it feels good. And you come back on the straightaway and you slowly let the steering wheel come back to center. And you're just like, there's like your first time doing that.
Fucking God.
Oh, I'm so good. Yeah, that's exactly what drifting kind of is. Or my progression into it. And then, I had to have a drift car from there on. Just had to. And like my core group of friends is like the Team Rowdy guys. They were at the first Formula Drift that I went to. And even having Honda, they didn't care. They were like so nice just to be like, come on, come hang out with us.
Sick.
And I think a lot of us are kind of like that, even now into drifting. Like, it doesn't matter what you drive. Like, I have plenty of cool media friends that, like, they put themselves around drifting, but they drive, like, Honda Fits.
Yeah.
I don't care. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Do you love drifting?
Do you love drifting?
Cool, let's hang out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it. And other communities, like the one I came from, were not like that. It's almost like the cooler the Honda you had, the cooler the person you were. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Sticky Diljo. That's the guy I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Joey Lee.
Yeah.
Great dude. He's like the president
Sick
of Honda people. He's like up here. It's like that dude, Ryan, like super talented guys, crazy car builders. Yeah. They come from like NWP for Life, Norwood Pizza Company. It's like, it's like this NorCal like super thing. It became a forum.
Interesting.
And everything grew in forums. Dude, remember forums?
Yes.
That's where like it grew.
Yeah.
Zip tied.
I wasn't cool enough.
Oh,
yeah.
you didn't miss
I came in late. Yeah. I was on Slam Burglars. That was like the one that I'm still friends with a bunch of people from.
I like forums.
Yeah, I miss them.
It's like social media without like selfies. Like there's still pictures of your cars and stuff, like the stuff we want to see, but like
it's
I don't care about you
build
working out.
threads and the ads are on the side, you know?
Yeah, I can remember. And they're like completely relevant ads. They're like car community ads.
Yeah.
Forums were the jam.
Yeah.
For sale threads and stuff. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I didn't need Craigslist. I had forums.
Yeah. That's what I bought. I bought my bricks on Zilvia for sure. They were like $350 shipped.
We sold a set, I think like 1,400 a couple weeks ago. Bricks. I know. I'm not like proud of it.
But like, what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? You're gonna run pickup truck headlights?
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, the 2002 Silverado lights kind of. No, they don't. They point at each other. Your car looks cross-eyed when it goes down at night. Stop. And like, nothing makes me more angry when someone completely Sylvia swaps to their coupe or something, and then they just shove like these stupid like 4 LED projector like crap lights in there, like no corner lights, nothing, just like no shroud.
Yeah.
You could do combat eyes. That's fine. Like fill the blank.
Yeah, combat eyes.
Combat eyes fine. But if you're gonna Sylvia swap, buy the headlights and then get the rest of the stuff.
Yeah. Do combat eyes and get the little light thing.
Yeah. There's your cheat code.
If you could drive, if Julian can drive AVS at night with his blind ass with combat eyes, you can do it. You'll be okay.
My headlights have never worked in this. I haven't even looked into it. It could be a fuse. Done like 8 events. I'm like, I hope it ends before sundown. Buy the expensive headlights, build the rest of your Sylvia front.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Or just keep your 180 front. Nothing's wrong with pop-ups.
Pop-ups are sick.
Pop-ups are sick.
Yeah.
I have pop-ups.
Okay. So we were on a tangent from another tangent. I'm trying to remember where that left off.
I think origin story.
Oh, we were talking about Hondas, and then like we were talking about
Joey Lee runs it.
Yeah. And then we were talking about, do you remember? No? Shit.
The Red Bull's not helping.
No. The compressor came on and we don't remember shit, so we're just gonna start from a new question. So we have your origin story. Some of it.
So from there, I met Nick Swan, actually. Believe it or not, me and Nick Swan were like little shitty friends. Like these little asshole know-it-all kids. And we were young, dude. I don't even know how old, but we started doing he was already working for Midwest Drift Union and doing a lot of stuff in there. And I had a vacation one event that overlapped an MDU event in St. Louis. And I was out there. He's like, hey, I need another judge. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. I got 12 hours to kill. It really was. It was me going to show up and say, hey, what's up, Nick Swan? And he's like, you want to judge real quick? And I'm like, sure. There's a bunch of amazing people I met there. Rollo. Actually, I was able to give Rollo his license that year. His FD, Rollo Alfaro. Alfaro. Yeah, Chase Bays. He's an absolute ripper. But that was like, okay, so I got to be part of drifting now. That was my first like transition of being like, okay, I'm drifting, I'm doing my thing, now to being like, oh, I'm giving back to the community. Or me in my mind being like, I'm gonna stand up here and listen to petitions and people yell at me and stuff based on my, again, I'm still kind of an amateur drifter at this time judging, but I started doing that, and then I started just kind of kept going, and I started my own Pro-Am series in Florida. And I really have this immense joy for competition drifting. I don't know what it is. Of course, fun drifting and close doors and final bout, all of it is fantastic. And I love every little bit of it. But something about like a bracket and looking at the competition and seeing who you're going to go and fight through and just the whole aspect of like that, it's one of my favorite things about drifting. I don't know. I know a lot of people could totally disagree with that.
Yeah, but a lot of people do agree with it.
A lot of people do. Yeah, there's
people who do like both. There's a good overlap. I think you'd be surprised. There's definitely there's like extremists on both ends, but like I think there's the majority of people like will go out and shred a weekend, but they'll enjoy watching like a competitive drifting round.
Yeah, I think so. I would like to hope so. I mean,
You're all in on all of it though.
I'm all in on all of it, which is a lot. There's a lot to digest in drifting. So yeah, the FD level stuff, that's now become like one of my biggest passions is being part of Formula Drift and just being part of that community, growing with the drivers from the pro-am level all the way up to the pro level, and just being part of that. But then working with people like Sebastian, I can't not help be part of like this whole final bout culture as well. My car's completely built generation specific. I fell in love with this generation, this style of car, and I was like, this is what I want. So I have APC gauges in my car. They like barely work. They got flames on them. They're like so sick. They're so sick, and they're just like not reliable, like not a good gauge. But it's what I wanted at that age. And so I kind of built that style of car, and that style of car is becoming pretty popular right now.
Yeah.
We went as a company at Koruworks that sells a lot of body kits, a lot of fenders and stuff. 55 mils were probably our most popular front fender, let's say for S chassis, for the longest. Where every one fender we sold, 55 mil Type 3s, we sold like 10 of. And now we're seeing a lot more requests for like 20 mil fenders, and people wanted to stick to steel quarters.
Yeah.
That's like a big thing right now.
Yeah.
That means like the whole style of the car is like transitioning kind of back to where it started. Kind of excited about that too. So yeah, I'd like to be part of like both aspects of that if possible. I love drifting. I love taking somebody on for their first ride along.
Oh, that's the best.
It's so much fun. It's so much fun. We got I get to I haven't done it in a while, but I used to get to judge LS Fest, which is all LS powered cars. And when you show up to some of these LS Fest events, it's you know, it's grandpa showing up in his whatever it is, and he's seeing drifting itself for the first time. And then LS Fest has an insane crowd. So when you start to like, oh my God, when you see grandpa getting hyped on drifting for the first, that's really sick. That's like so sick to see like this old man like starting to like, oh, you know, and it's whatever, you know, to us, it's what we like to do.
You have to see it in person.
You have to see it in person. It's totally different.
You want to convert your family members who think drifting's a waste of time and waste of money, get them in the car.
And I do love now that I don't have to say like formula, or like I have to say like drifting, you know, like Tokyo Drift. I don't have to say that anymore. A lot of people just know what drifting is.
Yeah. It's really nice to not have people be like, you mean Ken Block? You're like.
And what did you say? What was your answer to that? Because I haven't answered. What did you say when people were like.
I'll tell you mine.
Okay.
I'm too like logical to not. It makes like the vein in my head pop when people say that, because I'm just like, well, technically that's
technically right.
Technically that's not really drifting. But like I'll be like, it's similar, but the cars are a little different, and like he's a really good driver, but it's not exactly what we're like doing.
Okay, so you try to explain it.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to know my answer? Go ahead and ask me. Go ahead and ask me.
You mean you drift? You mean like Ken Block?
Exactly like Ken Block. I gave up. I gave up on the whole aspect of like trying to explain it. And he did some of the sickest drifts that only all-wheel drive cars can do also, which makes me even more mad.
Yeah.
Like, do you know how cool it'd be to just like fly as fast as you can? Picture your car, fifth gear, just pinned as possible, and you just huck it backwards where like you're so backwards. You're just like clutch in, fly backwards, and still be able to like link a turn.
And lay on throttle.
And it feels cool. And it looks cool. If you did that in your car right now, your engine would just, your rear end would be over here. You'd bend a wheel. It's just not going to look anything like Hemlock. Sorry. You're a great driver.
Thank you.
No problem.
I've done a fifth gear to fourth gear baggy.
That's so scary. I saw Laguna.
Yeah, I've done it at Laguna and Thunderhill East. But it didn't look like Ken Block. I wasn't like, you know,
it wasn't in Las Vegas.
All four, like pretty much like slowing the car down with, yeah.
He makes it look good. All-wheel drive makes it look good. What was it like when you click fifth? Were you mentally like, oh, here we go?
Yeah. I've talked about it a couple times on podcasts, but like when you're going down a straightaway for that long and you like upshift to fifth gear, you have time to like think about what you're doing. And my first thought was like, I put this car together. Like right. Is everything tight? Like, yeah, like
And the answer's like
these tie rods have like a little play in them. Like how, like what, like what's gonna, like, I'm running wheel adapters, like,
And I've seen it too. Like Brian Hopp, he was in not VIR. It was just an event recently, and he's like going down the back straight, and Brian, he's just an amazing driver, and like I think one of his tie rods like just breaks, and the car just goes right into the wall, like fourth or fifth gear, just and like well, this car, and it's a great build, great driver, but that's what happens. You're thinking about that.
Yeah.
I did the NASCAR track. They let me drive the NASCAR track in one of the drift events. And that was the first time I realized this is the first time I've ever had the car in fifth gear. I had to question myself. I'm like, do I have a 6-speed? like that's where I was in my life at that moment. I was like, I've never been in fifth because the car's not tagged or anything. And so I'd never go above third, fourth around a track or whatever. I'm rarely needing to be in fifth ever. And yeah, NASCAR track. And I was like, holy crap. My alignment specs are going through my head. I was like, I know
7 degrees of camera up front.
65 PSI in the rear. I'm like, what does that do on a NASCAR make? And I'm not slowing down. I'm like, I might as well. This is the only time I'll see how fast my car goes also. But you're right. The only thought I had through my head was like, I put this car
together. Yeah. I understand why people have like crews and like pay people, if you're going to do stuff like that.
Absolutely. Because you just can't have that thought. You're like, something that's better is cars put me to this guy. Yes. In all honesty, I don't even work on my own car. I mean, a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Now you're doing a lot for a lot of other people. You can take that.
I'm lucky enough to have like crazy talented dudes where they're just like, yeah, you want me to do spark plugs, oil change, so you can make this weekend? I'm like plugging away on the computer, like, yeah, can you do that for me? Awesome. And of course, I pay the shop and stuff, but like, yeah, I work at a drift shop. There's a lot of perks with that.
Yeah,
it's so nice.
Yeah,
it's so nice.
Laura and I were joking about how this like Koruworks feels like The Office a little bit.
I can see it. I can see it.
Like there's just characters and like people popping in and like work's getting done, but like there's like a lot of like animated shit going on the whole day. Like I honestly being on fly on the wall here, like pretty great.
And today was like a really calm day.
Yeah.
This is like a Thursday. Yeah, no, it is kind of like The Office. As long as I'm Steve Carell, I love The Office so much.
We decided that.
Thank God bless you guys. You guys are absolute sweethearts. Yeah, his management style is like I love it. But that's kind of how Koruworks is ran. Koruworks is a 6-person team. That includes media, ordering parts, packaging. So like the same person that's editing films, so sometimes is packing your over fenders. Like it's just us. And every day we throw Hail Marys to try and make something of the shop. We don't really want to grow anything to anything massive, but at the same time, we really want this to succeed for a long run.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like a community hub. Like I think every big drift culture has that community hub somewhere. Like, and this is it for at least Georgia, right? Like I'm sure there's other shops and stuff, but like this feels like the spot where people come to like hang out or, do whatever. Like what is the kind of origin? Like, have you been with Koru like since the beginning? Is it just like,
no, I did move down to Orlando for a while. I grew up in Atlanta, moved down to Orlando, and I started working at Juku for a while. Not for very long, but long enough to really understand like how the inner workings of a successful drift shop would look like. Ken and the guys down at Juku started 240s before anybody else. Like, let that be known. Like, they were pioneers in the industry of a drift shop. And they really taught me a lot. And when Tyler started Koruworks, shortly thereafter, it was mostly just a clubhouse for us to hang out. If you want to work on your car, come pull your car and work on it. We'll see you later. Don't charge you work on your own car. We'll talk to that. It was not a sustainable business by any means. And so I so I want to come back up to Georgia. Tyler offered me a gig after like my non-compete expired. And I took everything I kind of learned down there with those guys and kind of raveled into what I wanted this to be with Tyler. And yeah, I've been here ever since. So that's like 8 years, I think. 8 years. I've never had a job for 8 years. Ever. I mean, I think my longest job is like valet parking cars. And that's not a sustainable job at all. Like, Yeah, no, this is 8 years. I never thought I would have like a job this long, and I hope this is a job that I could retire at. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like were you like one of the first hires here, and just kind of how did your like growth happen within?
Okay. Yeah, so when Tyler hired me on, he actually there was a manager, this guy that was going to run the shop. He came from like a GTR background. And they were a pretty successful GTR shop. And he came in speaking high game, but he was a total idiot. And it was me and Ryan. Ryan and I started like almost identical same time. Ryan's a tech to this day. He still works here with me as well, like 8 years ago. And so it was us four. It was Tyler, total idiot, asshole, stupid. God, he was so bad. Me and Ryan. And so as time came by, stupid idiot wasn't doing any work, and he was like stealing money from the company. So we call out stupid idiot. Stupid idiot's gone, right? So he goes, and now it's down to us three. And we're like, all right, we need somebody with some muscle. We need somebody that could come in, do everything that we need, fabricate, paint, wire, everything. We need just jack of all trades. And Sebastian was that guy. So ever since then, it's just been like us just kind of going at stuff. Shortly after, we got so busy, we needed Adam. Brought on Adam. Adam's real popular in the Final Bout community. He runs their social media. Just a great dude.
Yeah,
just
Understeer King.
Understeer King. Yeah,
put on the bootlegs on YouTube so you can watch the old school shit.
I'm not going to get into legality of what anything is, but like he's really good at it.
Yeah.
If you ever get bored on YouTube, and if you're into drifting and you haven't been to Understeer King on YouTube, you're missing out on everything.
Literally like sacred texts, all of it. Pretty much all the OG drift content that we consumed like before there was anything really else.
And then on his downtime, what he does as a hobby is he scans old magazines.
Yeah.
And then posts like that content on the Instagram. Like he's kind of keeping like a lot of culture that a lot of us don't have access to alive.
Yeah.
Because none of us are going to go buy issue 212 of Option Magazine and like really genuinely flip through it. But like he has archived.
Now that they're $40 each also.
Jesus Christ. The yen's good. Maybe it's like 38.
Yeah. So how did a clubhouse hangout turn into a shop that's kind of putting names on quite a few like pro level cars?
Yourself. You got
me. Yeah.
What's up, boy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a pro level car. I built it.
We talked about this arguably. You know, listen.
Yeah.
So I think that the one thing that helps us out tremendously of being a small shop and still being put on race cars or put on our friends' cars and stuff is we are part of the community. It's not like going to certain companies where they kind of cater to everybody. And like, yeah, they may have a dabble in drifting, but they also have a dabble in this and that. We're at drifting. We're at the events. We're there. I'm watching you at Pro-Am. He's judging you at Final Bout. He's over here running. So like we are part of drifting. So since we know the community a lot, we kind of get hit with the email all the time where it's like, hey, will you sponsor me? We get that a good bit. And unfortunately, we can't. You know, it's a small shop. I just don't have the money to like be cutting checks. I would love to, but I can't. So we have to get a little bit smart. And what we do is we'll help you out. We'll help you out where you need it. So like, let's say, for example, let's say you're a pro spec driver, right? Or you're coming into pro spec. You're somebody who has an insane amount of talent. We see a bright future with you. You fit like our vibe. You vibe well for the team, or maybe we've seen you grow up in Pro-Am. What I can actually do is say, okay, let's sit down with the team and let's come up with a scenario of what you actually need to where we can be part of your program. So does Sebastian need to do fabrication for you? Does Ryan need to build an engine for you? Do you need help with like your program where you need sponsors or outreach or deck made? And we'll offer value in the best way that we can to where we're just going to ask for like, sticker on your car, maybe some deliverables here and there, but we just want to be part of what you're building, part of what you're growing. And you kind of see that with like Ben Hobson. Like is kind of like the most recent one. Ben was with us for a while, and Ben's a close homie. And we can't sponsor Von Gittin Jr.'s team. We don't even get a deck. Like we can't sponsor that team. But that doesn't mean that wasn't our goal from the start. Ben, we want you to be the best of the best. We want you to be an arrive and drive driver. And this is what we're going to do is try to build your program to where you could either sell your door for $200,000 or you could go drive for one of the top tier teams. And to this day, Ben and I are still close friends, but that was exactly what we tried to do. Nick Novak, we were able to set him up on an amazing team with Joe Yang Racing. Alec Robbins, I mean, he's still running. He was one of our first FD drivers was Alec Robbins. Ryan Littoral, I will grow with him as much as I can until we just cannot afford to be part of his program. And that's kind of where we are.
How do you pick who you work with?
It's my little secret. All right. Can I humble brag? I feel bad. I feel really bad being on the spot and like actually talking about accomplishments. But for a small team, we have had a lot of trophies in like Pro Spec. And it's all because we're so present at Pro-Am. I get to judge. I judge about 2, maybe 3 Pro-Am series a year. And I love it. I love it. Yeah. And I used to judge clutch kickers when that was a series back around.
I loved clutch kickers.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the only one that I would actually watch.
Oh, it was like me, Pat, and Will, and we were the judges. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. It was sick.
I would always watch. That's why I liked it, because I actually liked the calls.
Oh, tight.
Yeah.
Super tight.
Yeah.
Okay. I had a conversation with you earlier. I was like, have you ever sat through 150 drivers qualifying before? We had a whole day of just qualifying. It was a lot of judging, like, but I loved it. So what that was able to do is like doing these events and comps, and we just did like King of Atlanta and stuff. I get to see how these drivers progress as tandem drivers for years, and I've always been judging Pro-Am. I've been doing Pro-Am for Nick Swan since we were young, and I've never looked back. And I get to see these guys progress and who's going to be a ripper. And I don't want to be like 100% honest about this, but like a kid's going to show up to the track and he's either got it or he's not. Like realistically, like first, second time, he's either got it or he doesn't. And like once you put them in tandem competition, if their car's like fairly set up, you can tell. You can tell if they're hitting qualifying, hitting the boxes, hitting the line and stuff. You're like, oh, okay, so they can rip. But they have this thing to where they're not afraid to initiate like on the rear bumper. They're not afraid to take the risk in a transition and put their car in that risky maneuver. And you either have that or you don't. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Like I've seen people with less superior cars put their car in that risky maneuver and make it work. And that's so much more impressive than anything else.
Yeah.
So watching these drivers, if I start taking notice of these drivers, then yeah, of course, like when we have the opportunity to go Formula Drift, I'm like, come on, kid.
Yeah.
Let me help you out.
I saw where you started.
You're
like that, like football scout that goes to like the fucking Pee-wee football games.
I am. And all right, hear me out. But like I've literally sat about this before. And like if you do it. Any other company out there, if you want to get your name on a talented driver, start with them young, start with them fresh, start with them in Pro-Am. No, there's no money in Pro-Am. You're probably going to get limited return on your driver, but you need to learn to grow with your drivers. You got it. It's a relationship.
This day and age, like it's so much money to just even do Pro-Am or build a car. Mm-hmm. Like that little bit goes so far. And like,
oh my God, right?
And you'll find out if they're,
you would be amazed.
If they're loyal, right? Like
right.
You help somebody out early on, they burn you, like now when it's time to write the big check, like you can trust them, kind of thing. Like, yeah,
exactly.
Smart.
If you got finances, like it would be amazing if somebody came to you at the start of the season and said, "I'll cover your gas for the season." You'd be like, "Holy crap, dude!" Right? I mean, depending on what your whole season looks like, but like we're talking $1,500, $2,000. Say someone gives you like $2,000 towards gas.
I run E85. Mine's a lot less.
Cheat code. But that's
Pump E85.
Pump E85.
Let me be clear. Dude, you got it for $250 down the street. I'd be fucking.
Comes right out the ground too. You think they pump it? The racetrack's just dwelling right into our ground. Let's go fracking. But we got the cheap gas here in Georgia. No emissions in a lot of places. Yeah. Low key, I've been trying to convince them to move here. Yeah. But they can't leave the team.
Yeah. Maybe someday. Maybe I could get the whole team to move out here.
I told them.
Quality of life, baby.
Quality of life. It's insane.
Yeah.
You could get a house, whatever kind of house you want, for like probably half of what NorCal is.
Yeah.
SoCal, I don't know. It's
even more.
It's expensive all in America. I'm complaining right now. All of America is expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Inflation, man.
We're not getting we're not doing that now.
No, that's not.
We're not doing that.
No.
It's what we want to. We're not doing it.
Yeah,
We
want
promised
to
each other.
Yes, we did.
No politics.
Only drifting politics.
All right, let's go. Black wheels.
Abomination.
Abominations.
Question.
Talk to me.
Whose idea was the Formula Drift in 60 seconds?
Oh, sick. Okay. So there was this thing me and my buddy Sean started, and it was like drifting tonight. And it was just literally like Sean's like, let me film you. Because you go on tangents. I do this thing where like I flail. Like my mic's turned way down, by the way, guys, because I talk so loud. I go on tangents. He's like, let me just film your tangent after work. And they were like 3-5 minute long. And like half the time there's no script to it. So he's like trying to find these YouTube videos I'm like kind of explaining loosely and like just losing my mind about. And then I was like, we got to make it shorter. I don't have a full work day. I can't stay after work all the time. Like, let's just do it in like 60 seconds. And it was me and my buddy Gray. Do you ever meet Gray? He works for Good Life now.
Yeah. That's the homie.
Gray's awesome. So Gray worked here. And so me and Gray just started doing it like because we only had a minute. It was like on Monday. We're freaking busy. And so we just go on our tangent and he would like edit it down and it would look kind of fun. But yeah, it's like 5 or 6 minutes of me just yelling at whoever has a camera in my face. And like if I'm hot, I'm hot.
That's my favorite thing to come. That's the only FD content I consume is Formula Drift in 60 seconds. And it's great because I know what happened.
Kinda. Like you're like, all right. Like Dean Carney got in a fight with Kazoo. How did it happen? I don't know. But I know they have beef
like,
now.
all right, well, that's not surprising, you know?
I love there's a massive amount of politics behind FD. And it's so good. It's so good. It's just
they need a Drive to Survive. If FD did a Drive to Survive FD like thing where they like cover the drivers and all the drama, it would be WWE. Like,
it would be so high quality.
It would be so good.
Because it would just be the same thing as like what you see in NASCAR, but instead of them like pulling up and like they're Fords because they're a Ford driver, they're Toyotas because it's like them like calling friends like, "Can I get a ride to work?" And you know, they're just like halfway through the actual filming, they're like, "Well, our main character's not here because he can't afford round 3 or 4." You know, like that's a real FD. Is them just buckling down, yelling at people like, "We're sleeping in the trailer this round, guys."
If Chelsea DeNofa telling that dude to pack his shit and put it in the trailer was on like a Netflix show,
it was that whole to be part of that whole thing that transpired. So like there's like so when you're in FD and you're in 32, all you're focused about is like going on to 16. That's all you give a crap about. So after you do your run, win or lose, if you lose, half the people start packing it up in the trailer because they're just like, it sucks. You lose in 32 and it hurts. It sucks.
Yeah, nothing. You drove a long way. You brought a lot of people out there. Everybody probably worked.
Yeah.
Weeks before to get ready. Mm-hmm. Long nights on the car, and you lose your first battle.
That's like the tip of it. It's like the team gets a false sense of confidence that you're a winner, and you have to maintain this confidence well before you show up to round 1. They're like, we're going to win. We're going to take down Von Gittens. We're going to show Frederick Osbo how to drive. This car is going to work every single round. I've invested all this time. I got a new livery. I got my sponsors looking out for me. I got a media package. I have everything. I've got it this year. And then you just like, boom. It's insane. But in this round, everybody, win or loss in that top 32, kind of had the live stream pulled up because they heard what was transpiring in the pits. So like everybody at the track is watching this battle now because it's technically what had happened was they protested. Stuckey had protested and stuff and whatever. So they had to like run the battle one more time. During that time, Denofa goes over and was like, "Fuck you," like I'll fucking drag your ass around to do it again, right? Like fuck you. And we hear it in the pits. We see Chelsea Nova on like a 50cc, like, fuck you. And we're like, he didn't just stick around and just like breeze by and do it. No, he's like, and we're like, oh, Daddy Vaughn's going to pull out the belt. And like, it was sick. So, which did happen. Chelsea got beat by Vaughn. He had to. Vaughn just was like, fucking goddamn. He's lucky he won the championship, boy. God damn. A stunt like that. So
I'm never doing FD again.
It was, and like, and Chelsea's hot. He's always hot. I've seen Chelsea fight other drivers. I'm not going to mention it, but like, I've seen it. You don't do that. Chelsea comes into the drivers meeting like hot. He's like already ready to disagree. Like people are like, all right, everybody, round 4, here we are. And Chelsea's like, yeah, no, this ain't gonna work. Now everybody kind of sides with Chelsea. But anyways, it doesn't. The moral of the story is here. Everybody in the pits, like even if you just lost, you're like, oh man, I gotta pack it up. You're like, oh shit, then one more time, let's see what Chelsea does. Because Chelsea's like, he's hot when he drives. People who don't know this, when you show up to practice day, there's a day that's not open to the public and everybody practices. Chelsea will only follow. He'll come out the gate, won't take a lead run. He'll take his first lead run right before qualifying. This was before qualifying. Before like he would just chase and he would come out first run on somebody's door. It doesn't matter who you are. Does not matter who your car. It doesn't matter if you have a Ferrari that's misfiring. He's initiating on your door and he's going to stay that way through practice. So like, okay, everybody has their cell phone out. Teams are running to the fence to see this battle. Because they're like, oh, and if you watch this battle, guys, Chelsea did something where only if you're super talented you do. And he floats the car into a wall and accelerates at the very last second and drives Stuckey into the wall. It's this weird scenario. So they're running New Jersey and like he comes into his dip and Stuckey's like, oh man, this dude just threatened to kill me. I better go hard in my chase. So he's like pretty aggressive. Stuckey can fucking drive. Like he's good. And Chelsea just like, meh, and there's the wall. And he just wads it after telling the dude to pack it up. That put a level of confidence on Chelsea to know if I had never seen it. You take a confident person and you feed it? Who? He won the championship.
Yeah, fired up.
Now he's out there whooping people's ass in a Fox body. Nobody's safe. Now he's got a Porsche. Nobody's safe. Chelsea Nova might be the worst thing that's ever happened to drifting. Best thing ever for drifting is seriously. But like pulling out a Porsche, that's a real asshole move. I'm sorry. I'll never be able to drift with Chelsea Nova now because he's just gonna dust me no matter where we go. He's gonna be gone.
Yeah. Have you seen that thing drive yet?
It's so fast.
Yeah.
It's so fast. Like he gets grip out of it. And plus like he knows suspension, but he gets grip out of the car like I don't. How do you set up a Porsche for drifting? Where do you start?
I've only ever like I drove like one Porsche once in my life.
Didn't feel like a drift car, did it? No.
Yeah, I was a 911 GT3.
You come from a Mustang with a 305?
I was like, oh, this is why people fucking, do like company embezzlement so they could own one of these. This is sick.
It's kind of sick. Yeah. It's the one car I want a convertible so people see me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really bad.
I don't know how you set it up to drift.
I don't either. I have no idea.
They probably drift pretty good out of the box.
They probably have the most rear grip, but you go from a Mustang with a 305, you need something that has absurd grip. A normal Corvette, which Corvettes have absurd rear grip right out the box, it doesn't do it for you. You need a Porsche, like an asshole.
It's like, I need more rear grip. What has the most rear grip? It just Googles what car has the most rear grip.
I use like this much in my rear tire.
Yeah.
I know that it's not right.
I like a lot of rear grip. Maybe I need a Porsche.
Maybe you should get a Porsche, honestly.
Yeah, I fucking Chelsea got an E36. I got an E36.
Just move on over.
Yeah, now it's time for me to get my Cayman,
I heard you got another car.
Oh, shit. I haven't talked about that at all.
I know. You could drop the heat right now, though.
I could. Yeah.
Why not? Tell the people.
Okay. Yeah, so I've talked a lot about building a car and sending it to Japan. I've talked about doing a Japan thing. I've talked about how I'm not going back to Japan until I'm driving there because I've been there 4 times and been a cheerleader.
Not good. That's gonna hurt.
No, dude, I'm gonna be a starter this time. Like, yeah.
Tell the people.
So I was gonna buy this not so nice Fairlady Z, which is pretty much a 350Z, and I was talking to some of the boys over there, Macy, and he's like the dude who's always driving with Streeter in the mountains. You know, that like black
that's
S14.
so much fun to watch,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah. He's like the other car that like Streeter's chasing. Great dude. He's like, don't buy that fucking car.
Don't buy the Z?
Yeah. He's like, don't buy it. But I know of another car that just appeared. And I was like, okay. And he's like, you should take a look at it. And I was like, I don't know. That sounds crazy. Like,
you were pretty sold on the Z at this point, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that'd be cool. Maybe I'll like, you know, have him like send some parts over and I'll make it drive okay. And I'm just like, he's like, no, don't fuck around. Like, you should look at this car. And I'm like, okay. And then he's like, yeah, I'm having like dinner with Jimmy Oaks and Jordan Tweedy from like he has an export shop, right?
Sick.
He's like, so they all had dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And then they all hit me up and they're like, dude, this car is like perfect. You should get it. I'm like, oh no. And then Jimmy Oaks sends me like 10 pictures of it. And
so you hadn't even seen pictures up until.
No. And then Jordan sends me the parts list and like what's in it. And I'm just like, I'm like, how much, man? Like I'm just fucking edging myself at this point.
Because it's a good car. It's substantially better than the Z now. This car you're looking at.
It's like dream spec.
It's
Sylvia S14 red, like fucking gangster. Like I'm like, okay, I don't know if I could do it. Like I'm gonna have to like sell a bunch of stuff and like, oh my god, like that's a lot of money, but the yen's pretty weak compared to the dollars. I'm like, you know what, dude? Like, and then like I was sitting there and like the next week or so, like the yen just started to tank, and I was like, oh my god, I think I can actually do it. So I like hit up Jordan and I was like, hey man, like let's fucking do it. So he's like, yeah, fucking whatever. I'll fucking throw B-knuckle on it for you and get it ready. So you
have a red 14 in Japan right now?
Yes.
What kind of wheels?
I just sent it's on Work XSAs.
Origin kit?
Origin Racing Line, full Origin wide body, some like hood I've never seen.
And then does it...
Full interior, AC.
Stop! The AC comment is really where it goes so good. Yeah. Like, don't change the manifold, whatever turbo's on. That's it. HPI, the car's done. The car's
turbo,
done. Enjoy it.
Bottom mount, tune, power FC. Like,
imagine like drifting with your windows up and the AC on. In like Japan summer.
I'd nut right then.
You're like, does that power windows?
Yeah.
Luxury. Oh my god.
Yeah.
So whatever your daily and bring that thing over.
Yeah. So that's the plan. Is like we have. I'll divulge more of the plan later on, but like. Yeah, Jason's gonna potentially do something, and maybe Aaron, and we might do like a little like old man like drive around Japan and like go drive tracks trip. So
we're going to Daikoku, guys.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Oh, look at us!
Oh, hey, we're gonna just pull up to a car meet. Hi, guys. I think we're just gonna go like drive tracks and have fun. And
you should. I just Diego.
Yeah.
So Diego was up here yesterday. Shout out Diego, Team Baldhead and the dudes. He's like, I was trying to get Diego to buy some stuff from us, like always, and scumbag him, and he goes, "Oh man, I just got hit with my tow bill when I was out in Japan." Dude, he almost spent 2 racks on just tow bills.
Yeah.
Just tow bills. So he's got a car out in Japan, and they did the whole what you're talking about. Yeah. I mean, that pays for a good portion of the car.
Yeah.
Like if you just drive it.
Yeah. So that's the plan.
Good on you.
Yeah.
Good on you.
I don't know. Just having it like be free to do stuff. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
I think driving into Japan is like, I mean, that's a bucket list for most people.
That's a
like
bucket
just
list
driving around. Yeah.
I've been so many times. I like need to do it. I just need to do it. Like, not getting any younger, as they say.
My knees are clacking.
Yeah. Like I'm not going to be able to just like go fuck around and like, I don't know, start thinking about the future more as you get older. And you're like, all right, well, like it would be cool to go drive that car and then like send it home and like keep it nice and
You should.
Yeah.
You gonna livery it? You gonna do the whole graphics and stuff?
I don't know, maybe. It's already red, so it's like
you got it. Well,
the team's gonna want me to make it the team car for sure.
Yes, it's got to have like a lot of stickers on it.
Yeah, so like that's the
sooner
thing. It's
or later.
Like, well, then what do I do with the other? Like, do I have a team? I don't know. There's a lot of unknowns right now. But all I know is
double teaming. Let me in on the J team. Let me apply for the J team.
Absolutely. Send it to info@probablynot.com.
Everybody, you heard it here, though. He's going back S chassis. This is big news.
This is
big
first
news.
time in 10 years. Yeah. I parted out my S13 10 years ago.
You get to pick from more than like 2 body kits now. Can somebody just
my front bumper is unobtainium at this point right now.
It's the rarest thing ever.
On the M3, yeah, it's so annoying. So yeah,
and you
have
can
like get them, but it's like they're not the same. Yeah,
you have arguably one of the best looking E36s out there, and we know that. We know that. Yeah, but it's hard to build another.
At this point, I don't disagree. Like I've been doing it long enough. Like I used to be like humble, like no way. But I'm like, all right,
fuck off.
Yeah, this last time I was just like, I'm going in. Like fuck it, dude. Lace roof, like all this, like those little details. Like I'm like, okay, I'm pretty happy.
The color's phenomenal. Listen, the color's phenomenal. Your livery this year is one of the best yet. The little yellow accents and stuff on the side skirts, like, wow. Your wheel setup's sick.
Thanks.
We're gonna fix that wheel setup though. I think we got something going. I don't know. Me and him, we had to talk earlier today about getting rid of 3-piece and going monoblock. We had a whole conversation.
Shit.
Yeah, and like it's a real conversation.
Yeah.
Like, what do we want? Like, do you like? I like the look of monos.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I love drifting on them.
Yeah.
Way easier.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta fucking change it up, Especially when a deal just like slaps you across the face.
Look, you get a good deal and you're like, I'm going to sell my lippy wheels. Like, I'm kind of out. Like, I'm so tired of mountain tires on these damn VSKS. Like, it's such a pain in the ass. Like, low key, we might be going monoblocks.
Maybe. Yeah.
Who knows?
I'll let you know.
A lot of change going on right now. What else do we want to tell people?
Tire Streets, baby. 2024 was a great year. You guys ran up that code. You ran up that tirestreets.com/goodest. Tire Streets, big supporter of the podcast. Without supporters like that, we would not be putting out episodes as often as we do. So I really appreciate Tire Streets, and I really appreciate you guys for going and running it up. And you guys got some good tires. You got to go get some laps with the boys and girls out there. You got to drive. It's just a cohesive, symbiotic relationship. I'm happy you guys got some deals. I'm happy we got to put out some podcasts, to many more. Thank you. It's funny to be doing a Koruworks ad for a podcast. We're recording at Koruworks, but it was my first time there. It's skate shop vibes. It's the coolest shop I've ever been to. They got memorabilia everywhere. They got carbon fiber trophies everywhere. They got cool wheels hanging up. If you haven't been there, you gotta go. If you're in the market for parts, aero, wheels, whatever, hit them up. They got the goods. And if you're local, you already know about them. But go over there, tell them we sent you. Get yourself like, I don't know, some cool custom exhaust made by Seb, or get your car wired up, or have them build you a Pro Spec, or have them build you an FD car. They can do it. Trust. If you got a new car, they could do that too. I saw 2 GR Yaris's, or whatever they're called, 2 GR Corollas getting like 500 horsepower motors dropped in. Like, Koruworks can do it all. They're good guys. I wish I could have hung out longer. We were there for 3 days. And they got the cool engine bay dress up parts, and they got cool merch. And if you want a discount on that, Goodest Boy, GODSTBOI, 15% on their site. Go show them some love. If you think this episode's funny as shit, give Greg a follow. Tell him I like this episode. Thank you. Thank him for the support of the podcast. They've been a huge sponsor in 2024, and we want to say thank you to them for that. So we appreciate Koruworks. We appreciate you guys. Thank you. Fuel Lab. If you guys haven't bought a Fuel Lab fuel system yet, I can't say that. I just think if you really want to have the best time drifting, one of the most important things you could possibly have in your vehicle is a solid fuel system. And guess what? You don't want a young lean. You don't want a lean condition. You want full fuel all the time, pressurized in your cylinders. And that's it. And we just want to say thank you to Fuel Lab. Fuel Lab 2024 really supporting the Goodest cast. Code Goodest on their site for 15% off. Go run it up at the end of the year. Get yourself a nice Christmas gift. Get your partner a nice Christmas gift. Get them a fuel pump. Maybe they'll pump you, Anyway, Fuel Lab, they're great. I run them in my car. Check them out. Check out their quick service surge tank. It's sick. I haven't had any fuel slosh issues. Fuck, that's hard to say. I haven't had any fuel slosh issues since I put it in my car. That's a tongue twister. If you get your significant other some Fuel Lab, they're going to give you a tongue twister. You know what I'm saying? Fuel Lab, baby. Get it. Okay, you're talking about how you pick drivers. You told me a story earlier that I was like, why the fuck did you just tell me this story fucking an hour before we go on the podcast? Can you retell how you chose one of your drivers?
Oh man, one of my favorite stories. It has to be like the Blake Olson.
Yeah.
Okay, so Blake Olson is one of the kings of style, without a doubt. Do you agree?
Yeah,
like his cars he builds,
yeah, he does cool shit.
Are just beautiful. Like when you really look inside, him and his dad, the craftsmanship behind them also matches how they look. But I'm judging LS Fest Las Vegas, and again, LS Fest, it's a lot of like what you would expect the drift cars to look like when they're LS. You know, roll cage, you know, loose fitting body panels, a lot of stickers. You know, it's that vibe, whatever. And then Blake pulls out his S13 at the time, right? And this car is like on the ground. I've to this day have never seen like a car on Equips like this low, and it's insane looking. And he pulls it out and it's not working right, but like, of course, all eyes. I can't wait to see this car drive. I can't wait to see this car drive, you know, because it looks insane. And the car's been broken in the pits the whole freaking day. So like, we tell Blake, we're like, all right, you know, we'll push you to the back of qualifying. He already missed his first qualifying lap. We're like, dude, if you could just get the car out to the track, and there's like 15 drivers here, you could be the 16th driver. I just need you to link the course. Just link the freaking course for me, right? And Blake's like working on his car. Yeah. I'm just give me a second. I'll be out on track. I'll make my run. We're like, all right, cool. See you, Blake. And so back up to the Judger Tower, and okay, cool. Blake's car's idling is coming out to track, and we're like, sick, right? And it's me, Odie, and I forget who the third guy is, but like the third guy mumbles like he's a local. I think it was like Paco or something. He's like, oh, this guy rips. You know, so I'm like, oh, you know, as a judge, like I want to hear, oh, okay, a cool car that rips, right? Swan's working grid, and I don't know. I keep in mind Blake's car was broken the whole time, so he did not get a single practice run, let alone look at the track, because he ends up drifting the wrong track at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We're like in the spotter tower, and he's gone. We can't see where he is. And like, he comes back into frame, realizes he's on the wrong track, hauls back past like Swan at start finish line, still runs the track like wrong. I think he did one of the turns like backwards. Because it's like a parking lot event. Comes back, and it was the most insane thing I've ever seen. It was full on throttle. He was close to like the wrong wall. He was like, it was insane, like never lifted, smoke cloud, car looked amazing. And like, we had to zero him, and he had to pack it up on the trailer after one lap because it was not. And I just remember just being like, that was the fucking coolest shit I ever seen. And next year we were partners for FD. I'd never seen another lap out of him. Because he's in Las Vegas, I never saw him drive another Pro-Am. I never saw anything at all from him. I knew that his S chassis was sick. He had this E92, and I'm like, let's do it. And we sponsored Blake all the way through. And
that E92 was gangster.
Dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Showing up on Chrome to pro drifting is just such a flex, dude.
There's like this thing where like okay, so I was his spotter for a couple of years as well through ProSpec, and I shared I was spotted for Nick Novak and him like some years when they were doing Pro and ProSpec, and his first run was always kind of like twitchy and not great, and his second run when the tires are like glazed and they barely had, he was like awesome. That car loose because he's running 10.5s on 255. It's a stretch tire. Like, he's got no side bite at all. Like, there's no sidewall rollover or nothing on the car. It's there. And, like, he's a stabby throttle dude. Also, the car's NA. I don't know if you know this. It's like a 427, crazy compression. Like, yeah. And so you just got to stay in it. And when it drive, you hear it, like, those things. And when you just hear the driver matted and just barely coming off throttle, dude, he qualified high all the time. All the time. And the car looks so good.
Yeah.
It was way too low. And like sponsors were telling him it was too low. He had a set of Fortunato 2-ways built for the car. And the reservoir is attached to the coilover, and his car was so low, when it squatted, it just knocked the reservoir right off on the frame rail. And he's like, instead of like raising his car, he's like, oh, I need a different coilover. Like, just raise the car and you can like get around the track. Nah, I'll just go single adjustable with that. Like,
I respect it.
Absolutely, because there is this like, we chatted about it for a second, but there's like this. Why do some people in drifting that are active drifters, that are good for drifting, that enjoy drifting, that talk drifting, that build drift cars, some of them talk trash about FD? Why? Why?
I think,
like, what about it? Is it the personalities? Is it the cars?
That's
Is
a great
style?
question. I think a lot of the people, it's the cars and the style.
Okay.
It's like too far from early D1, which is what people fell in love with.
Right.
And they're like watching it turn into like Monster Jam. You know? Like,
what's
like,
wrong with Monster Jam is my next question, because that's kind of the best form of motorsports.
I love Monster Jam. Yeah. I have an autographed photo of Dennis Anderson on my wall. So
can we sidebar? We'll go back.
And when I saw,
we were talking about FD. We'll sidebar. Great
Sure.
conversation. And Dennis Anderson. Go on.
Yeah. He signed it for me like at some like weird demo, and like I don't even know where it was, but super nice dude, biggest Gravedigger fan ever. I used to watch like this VHS tape that was like the Gravedigger, like,
go on,
you know, fucking
best stuff. Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it was like edited really sick. It was like super like, you know, Grim Reaper.
I mean, he comes out of Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina.
Yeah. With the red lights on the front. Yeah. I was all about it. Monster trucks were everything to me as a kid. I had all the fucking monster truck toys. So like,
I like Snakebite. I was a big Snakebite fan.
Sick. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Now here we are.
Yeah. And then they started like having like the fucking wrestler like theme trucks and like the
Did
weird.
you know Vince McMahon bought it? He bought it from NHRA.
No.
That's where all the Vince McMahon owned Monster Jam. Do you know who owns Monster Jam now?
Who?
Barnum and Bailey.
The circus company?
The circus owns Monster Jam. All their toys, if you read all the toys, it's Barnum and Bailey, all the t-shirts, everything. Their tickets.
Way.
Yeah, it's Barnum and Bailey Circus. They're horrible for the environment. They went from like the animal transport to now like straight header V8s. Like they're just like, they can't escape it. Like, guys, play it safe. Like, put the trapeze guy. But Dennis Anderson.
I'm surprised they don't have more clowns out like fucking.
Oh, juggling shit. That'd be sick. Put like, I don't know. Entertain me, clowns. No, but there's.
What if Barnum and Bailey's bought FD?
It would be the best thing that's ever happened to drifting. If Vince McMahon bought it, dude, he's such a bad human being. But I would be like,
I've learned that recently.
Yeah, he's not a good human being. But
what a showman, you know?
Bad controversy is good controversy.
If Vince McMahon bought FD,
it would be so sick. Ryan Literal would win everything. He would just come out in like a costume. He already does it.
They need like walkout music. You know?
They used to. FD used to send your top 16 one by one, and you got to pick your song. And they would come through the track, and they do like a little move, wave to the fan, and go off, and the next driver, and you could pick your song.
They do that at Good Luck League. Shout out Lucky at Good Luck League. You don't get to pick he doesn't, but yeah.
There's one of Pat Gooden's favorite stories that he'll tell you after like one or two Twisted Teas is he did an event, and I want to say it was like, let's say it was Puerto Rico or Cuba, or it was one of the, it was like he had to go somewhere, right? Could have even been China. But the moral of the story is they had introduction music. And so Pat chose the Chicago Bulls anthem. And the problem with that is it's like 8 minutes long, and they played the whole song through. So he just did like circles around the track, waving to people for like 8 minutes and 30 seconds to the Chicago Bulls song. I think they were just like, what do you want your song to be? And he's like, Chicago Bulls song. and like, it's like, Pat like can't get through the story without being like, and then I was out there for like eight minutes. But Okay, so back to the main topic I wanted you here for. I'm so glad we caught this. Dennis Anderson. The only time I've ever been starstruck, I was walking through Sema a few years ago, and I saw Dennis Anderson. And he wasn't in a booth. He was like walking around like a normal human being, which even more blew my mind. I'm like, God amongst men. Yeah. And so
like, you don't hover?
No, even before like the phrase, I was like, hi, King. You know, like I like legitimately meant it. And so I see him and I'm like, this is just my opportunity. As a child, I've grown up biggest Gravedigger fan, not to take it away from you, but I was right there with you, brother. Right there. We could have held hands and watched that VHS all day.
I knew we were going to be friends.
Oh, I knew it immediately. I think flames are the coolest thing in the entire world because of Gravedigger. I just sat in class drying flames. I could rip a sick hand dry. That's all hand done one time.
On your roof?
On my roof. Just
very cool.
Because of Gravedigger. They're Gravedigger flames.
Yeah, Ghost. So
the ghosty babies. All right. So I see Dennis. Can I call him Dennis?
Yeah, you can call him.
Okay, I see Dennis.
Mr. Anderson.
Put some respect on it, King. All right, so I see Mr. Anderson, and so I said, excuse me, I'll be really quick because I know he's doing autographs. He has autograph sessions everywhere, and I'm like, I'll just be really quick. I just want to let you know, I'm here at Sema in this industry because of predominantly you. I grew up not watching. I didn't say this, but I mean, I didn't watch NASCAR or anything. I watched monster trucks, and I just let him know I just wanted to thank him for what he's done, you know, for my career and the automotive community as a whole and all this other stuff. And, you know, I thought it was going to be like, all right, cool kid. Thanks. You know, you want an autograph or anything? He goes, awesome. Hey, I'm Dennis. What do you do? And I hyperventilated, started crying.
No, you did not.
I swear to God. They just came. And like, I'm with my boys. Like I'm at Sema. I'm with my peers.
Do they even know who he is?
Absolutely not. Absolutely. He's like this old redneck, just like walking around with like a like shoe. Just like what? He's not wearing any. He's just probably wearing Snap-on clothes. Like not even like. He's just this
not
old.
Like, I'm Dennis Anderson. I created and drove Gravedigger.
Doesn't give a damn. Yeah. Like he doesn't give a shit about Monster Tram or none of that. He loves mud bogging. He's an OG mud bogger. Like he's a legend in the mud bog industry.
I didn't know that.
Legend in like Tallahassee, stuff like that. Yeah. Especially North Carolina, South Carolina. Like he goes way back in bogs. And anyway, so like he asked me and I was just like, I just put on events. I just want to. And he's like, do you want a picture or something? And I was like, no. And then I stopped at no and then walked away. And I was to this day. He's like, you okay, little kid? I'm like fucking 32. And he's like, no, and I just run. I'm like hot. Now I'm crying and I'm hot. I'm like sweating. And like I've never been starstruck before, especially as somebody in our industry. Like you know, when you're in this industry long enough, you find yourself like a Tanner Faust or something. You know, a legend, an icon, or whatever. Yeah. And you can just shoot the shit with him. You know, it's whatever. You know, he's a peer. With Dennis Anderson, much like yourself, it was just. I told one of my good buddies, he drives for Toyota, and I told him if he's ever done driving for Toyota, but he wants to do monster jams, I will quit everything at Koruworks and I will follow you. That's the only thing I will leave here is for monster jam.
I respect it.
Thank you. Would you stop this podcast for like a ride, like a 5-year contract to monster jam?
Yeah.
You would leave the team for a 5-year ride. Let it be known.
To drive
monster jam.
Yeah.
Are you
kidding me?
There's an FD driver.
Dude.
There's an FD driver that said no to that offer to get paid. I'm not even going to shout him out. I told him they were stupid.
You better tell me afterwards.
It was a girl. I told them to the face. So I have no shame if this goes public. I was like, that's the dumbest thing in the world. And they're like, you know, they have their reasons. I don't know their reasons as much because I wasn't listening to the reasoning. Like they told me it was like in one ear out the other.
You just heard Monster Jam and no,
yeah,
and you're like,
could have drove Monster Jam. And I did. I was just like, no.
Yeah.
And then like,
spiral.
And I think their brother got offered the same. I'm like literally saying who it is, but like. I think they got the same offer or something, but like, I don't know. I was just like, why would you not do it? I was 2 White Claws in. I was just screaming at the table.
They didn't grow up on Gravedigger VHS tapes like we did.
They absolutely did not. Absolutely. I had this one where I was Bigfoot versus Snakebite.
Yeah.
And like, do you know how cool a form of motorsport is where you build an enemy team car? based off of a masked character.
Yeah, that's kind of incredible. Yeah.
That's kind of what Chelsea Denofa was for RTR, actually. Think about it. He was like the snake bite of him. Yeah, Vince McMahon needs to buy FD.
That's what I'm saying. It would be, dude, bring Denofa back.
Bring Denofa back. Just pay him.
Yeah.
Pay him, whatever. Whatever.
Just
what do you need? Bring the BMW. We don't care. Clapped out Porsche, whatever.
Yeah.
Bring it.
Yeah.
Drifting's cool because you can do stuff like you can bring a Porsche. You can, I mean, kind of. You bring a Corolla, but like you can bring style. You can bring, dude. If you ever looked at Turk's Corolla, that car looks so good.
It's cool.
Screw you, man. How are you gonna fit a 305 on a Corolla and be like, yeah, it looks cool?
I don't know. I haven't seen it up close.
It's sick. It's got like, I think it's got works on it. It's like, it's sick.
They're
Gucci's car looks phenomenal. It's got Kazama kit on it. It's insane looking. It's so
Gucci does
impressive
a
in
good
person.
job.
Yeah.
There are cool cars in FD. I think people see it as like this unobtainable different thing that like for me for a while I was honestly it came from a place of like I don't know if I want to say this because it sounds cheesy, but like you see FD and you're like I might be able to do that. Like it's hard to watch, especially like there were the years where like there was like the top 8 contenders and they were all good and everybody else below that was like I'm like I think I could beat them, you know, like and you're like
and sometimes they did, and then that feeds the other category of people that are like, oh, I think I could do it, you know. There is those scenarios where like Taka Ayano beat, you know, a Dodge Viper or Taka Ayano, you know, in his Corolla,
which is exciting as fuck.
Which is exciting, but you are right also where you're not going to beat Reese Millen.
Yeah, and
at that time you're just not, you know.
Like, you know, you see it and you're like, oh, that's really expensive. Like, I don't even know how they do it. Like, and then, you know, you like watch calls that don't make sense, but you're not in the driver's meeting where they explain the rules and like what zones they're looking for. You just see like a gangster chase run and you're like, what the fuck are they even watching? You know? And it's like, it's hard when you're at home and you like actually drift and you see some weird shit. And you're just like, after a certain point, you're just like, I don't know. This is like a different sport.
I think the judging criteria has become so focused for Formula Drift to satisfy the viewer that it has made more confusion and disconnection with the drivers than ever.
I think so too.
I think that's why
Chelsea left.
That's why Chelsea left. As a judge, a person who judges drifting, if I got the job to judge FD next year, I would wholesomely disagree with a lot of things and say the more aggressive chase driver, put himself in riskier maneuvers, I'm going to reward that most of the time. If they don't match the angle within reason, I would say that proximity is king.
But that's what it.
Proximity is
fucking
king.
Exciting.
That's what's exciting. Put yourself in the risky where you make my butt go, oh, like that. Like, how do you make that turn? Oh, you know, like that's as a chase driver, I think that should be rewarded. And if they make it stick, hell yeah. I think there's too many rules that tell the chase driver how you need to follow the lead driver into initiation. So from the start, they're already playing by like a rule book.
Yeah.
It should be a free for all. If the lead car hits you as the chase car, like, nah, you screwed up that one. Like, give the lead driver as much room to do whatever the hell they want. And if they're throwing backies, your spotter should be telling you he was throwing backies all day.
Yeah, chase it.
Chase it. And you know what you can do when he pulls out of the backy? For turn 2, you're going to be stuck on to his door.
Yeah.
Cool. Let him throw a backy and hurt himself.
Yeah.
Or
do one with him.
Do one with him and put the nail in the coffin.
Yeah. It can be done.
Backies are part of drifting. Don't say that they're illegal in the competitive form of drifting. There's within reason. If you park the freaking car, I get it. There's going to be haters and be like, you can't throw a backy in comp. Screw you. Like, get me excited. You want to be hyped on FD again? This is what you need.
I agree.
You have to be allowed to let the drivers show their style and not cater towards what the judges want to see.
That would be like the X Games telling Tony Hawk he can't do a 900.
And you know what? He didn't nail it at 900 the first time. He nailed it like the 26th time or whatever. Right, exactly. And they gave him X Games shut down the whole show and filmed it and everything. Or like legends. They're like,
just let him keep going.
Let's go.
Yeah,
go King.
It was sick.
Like, let him do it.
Right.
That's drifting. We're skateboarders. That's what got us hyped as little kids. And you're taking it away from us as pro drifters.
If Vince McMahon owned FD, he would promote backwards entries.
I think yes. I think Vince McMahon would be a great. I'm literally getting canceled. He was this man.
I don't know what he did.
You don't know what he did?
Don't
worry about it. It's not for this podcast.
Yeah. Okay.
He's a wild character. He's just. I don't want to get into it.
Okay. Cool. We won't talk about it.
But you should look into it.
A wrestling promoter,
definitely
owner should take over FD and
I
tell
fully
him how to
agree.
make it.
I think it's smart. I think so. Ryan Sage is the one pulling triggers right now.
Yeah.
And Ryan Sage is a very smart man and a great businessman, and I think very highly of him, especially because I want to run Formula Drift next year. But he has a lot on his plate. He has a lot of moving parts that he has to overlook, and I think if I can say anything like directly to him, it would be, I think the judges need to stop telling the drivers so much what they need to be doing as far as expectations, and the judges kind of need to cater back towards the driving styles that the drivers want to bring.
I want to ask, I mean, other than Robbie, when's the last time any of these dudes drove a fucking 305 tire, 1200 horsepower car? You know, like they just are different. And
okay, you're right. You're right, and I want to yell at the judging and be like, it needs to be a Chelsea Denofa, it needs to be a pro driver, it needs to be this. But then again, I am throwing stones in a glass house because I've never driven a 1,000 horsepower car in 255s, and I've judged many a driver or spotted for many a drivers. We've gotten podiums. I know driving. I know drifting. I know what a car can do and what a car can't do. Do I know how to do it in the car? Hell no. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I've watched so much drifting in my entire life, and I know what a car could do, especially growing with a driver. And
I think the difference is you watch a lot of different kinds of drifting.
That too.
Yeah, I don't know.
That too.
I gotta stop hating on the judges so much. It's not
their fault. It's just they're setting the criteria.
Yeah.
And the drivers need to follow that criteria, which has now put the drivers in a box.
Yes. Which makes things less exciting.
It makes things less exciting now because I know the loophole in Formula Drift. Okay? I know now that I am rewarded, or my driver is rewarded, if I tell him on his second lap, say he's chasing, and he has no tire left. We still have like a killer wheel speed, and we get maybe 1.5 laps. So the second half of the track, I'm going to tell my driver, do not worry about proximity. Fill the box. Stay at the same angle. Okay? And he's going to fall 4 or 5 cars behind. Same line, same angle, and we're going to win. No. Make your tire last. Make it exciting through the last turn.
Yeah.
No. So there's like these weird loopholes where you can actually play the game. And then you also see the drivers like Osbo, Shanahan, like they did some stuff in Jersey last year. You see these drivers where they're just on it. It doesn't matter. And those drivers are the ones that deserve to win at the end of the day. Where there's no games.
Make it undeniable.
Undeniable. You just win it.
Yeah.
You just win it. Yeah. If you can match the angle and proximity, cool. That's dream world, right?
Yeah.
Of course. But if you're like a little bit off on angle, but you're like pushing doors in and people are screaming and it looks sick, fuck you, that's drifting.
That's the stuff that makes the people in the crowd go like, what? I don't know what I'm watching. Like
Chelsea Denofa won his championship on being boring. That year he was boring.
And he turned it down.
Turned it down.
Yeah.
It was boring. I mean, no, he had some amazing runs. He did some amazing things. But I've seen Chelsea Denofa literally ramp his car over people, and we're like, that's the Denofa we love. There he is. Yeah. And that's what we want. Formula Drift is the golden corral of drifting. It's everything. It's all of it. It's all you can eat buffet. It's the most wheel smoke. It's the biggest tire. It's the biggest car. It's the biggest cruise. It's the biggest budgets. It's the biggest sponsors. It's the biggest live stream. It is the golden corral of drifting, and I love it. I want more. I want seconds. I want thirds. I can't keep my hand out of the chocolate fountain. I love it. And like, I don't care if your front wheel poke doesn't fit under the fender anymore. Do you get down? Does your car drive? Hell yeah. Now, don't bring it to final bout.
Yeah.
Don't bring that shit around here.
Yeah. It's two different sports. And like also final bout, in my opinion, I'm gonna like bury myself right now.
You should. I've already screwed myself.
Like I think almost a little too much focus on car styling.
Okay.
Like in team tandem, I think there should be a point where it's like, you got here, you got invited. your cars are cool enough to drive the event.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's just see who drives the best.
Ah.
Because there's like an overlap with like
50%
car show.
50%. Yeah.
And like,
but that's also what makes Final Bout.
Which they do at the end. They pick a top 4, and then after that, it's just driving, right?
Right.
But like, I would like to see, like, I don't know. It's complicated, right?
It's like, a drifting car show, but that's...
Yeah. So like, would I like to see, like, it's all very complicated. Like, FD has to do the things they need to do to progress it in the way that they want. And like, Final Bout has to do that to keep the cars nice, because then otherwise it just turns into like a fucking demo derby, like team tandem competition, which honestly would be really fucking fun.
It's a great time for everybody. Now, if I could say one thing to like a lot of the people that like kind of hate on FD, stop, because FD is the one thing that's truly in a massive way helping legitimize the sport of drifting as a whole. They're the ones like taking the Papadakis and the Turks or the Osbos, and they're featured in car commercials with Toyota. They're being featured as like primary drivers with Ford and flown over here and stuff, introducing new builds, new Corvette build that Matt Field just did. These guys are really getting like the OEMs involved, and big tire companies are building tires for drifting because of the sport or because of FD. So if you hate on it, just hate on it a little bit more quietly, because it's helping the whole sport progress. Like, people who hate on Von Gittin, I'm like, screw you. Because Von Gittin was there from day one, busted his ass, and to this day busts his ass to build like his little empire. But like, he's done so much for drifting and legitimizing the sport of drifting.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know he like went to Mahon with like a Mustang like a long time ago. Did you ever see the?
It was wild. Yeah, it was like bone stock too. Yeah,
he went and drove with like Burst and like a stock Mustang at Mahon.
And he was like low key ripping.
Yeah,
like low key. It was like kind of really good for a bone stock Mustang.
You're like, who the fuck is this?
It was like I think he did like a comp or qualified in the rain, and like people, the judges were just like, this dude rips. Oh man, he's the best in America. I think it was like literally the comment from the video. And no, I mean, the dude drifted Nürburgring, like the whole thing. I mean, they had to do it in sections and change tires, but he drifted the whole track.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know about that.
That's insane.
Yeah. So based on like Final Bout numbers, I was talking to like the guys, and they were like, as FD grows, like they were looking at like the Instagram following. He's like, at 1 million followers on the FD account, we were at 100,000. At 2 million followers on the FD account, we're at 200,000. So like, we are that like 20% subculture, or like 10% subculture.
Yeah.
And like, as the sport as a whole grows, you can like measure it with like the 2 accounts or like 3 accounts, and they're all kind of growing at the same rate.
Beautiful.
But like the 10%, so like, there's only going to be more and more people who don't like FD.
Awesome. Sick.
But as that number grows, it just means
the whole
that
sport's
FD is getting bigger and the sport's growing. And then we have like the music video stuff and like all that other shit.
Hell yeah, dude. Adam LZ's at like Zoomies. Like,
that
he's
blew
like,
my mind.
That's so sick. And then you look and you see like Hoonigan on the rack, and then you see blah, blah, blah. And then you see like the homies. Hell yeah, because it makes drifting cool.
Yeah.
Like drifting cool to like the person who's going in there for a shirt and ends up picking up an Adam LZ shirt, you know?
Anybody just cruising through the mall in any city in America can just go and like get drifting apparel.
That's so good for the sport.
Yeah.
So good for the sport. Drifting's cool right now.
It's very cool.
It's cool.
The question is does it have a shelf life?
Stop. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to go on the record talking about the EPA and economy and
No, but not even that. Just like,
I can't.
Like, does it get too mainstream, and then like the niche, does niche drifting like die, and it only becomes?
We're all gonna.
I mean, because I guess people are still always gonna like drag race gassers, you know, and like there's gonna be NHRA, and NHRA is just gonna get bigger and bigger. But like, I would say like, shit like Final Bout or team drifting or whatever, that's gonna be like its own thing. That's gonna be like 70s style like. Fucking drag race, like purist nerds,
So I think drifting's going to, I mean, obviously, while you and I are still alive, there's still going to be drift cars. We're going to be drifting.
Yeah.
110%. Like,
and I think my cold dead hands.
you bury me in my car. I looked into it. It's really expensive to get buried in your car rather than dig you back up and stuff. It's a thing. You could have it. It's not really worth it to get buried in your car. Yeah. Plus, like, don't scratch the paint.
Yeah.
Don't touch the trim.
There's got like a backloader dumping dirt on
Yeah, I'm
it.
like, yeah, just like throw the roses on me. Everybody walk away. They'll pull me back out and get my car out.
Yeah, put it on fucking Facebook Marketplace.
I was gonna say like a museum, and you're like, no, sell it. When I'm dead, sell it. Pay off the roof.
When I'm dead, I want all my friends to just like thrash my car. That would be like that. Would I don't want it to sit in a museum. I want it to get driven so hard and like have everybody enjoy it.
I fully agree with that statement. I fully I've seen like Jake's car at like events and stuff like that, and I'm like, dope. Dope. Because especially a car with that much personality into it. It's just really good to see that like still moved around and still being used and stuff. I don't know if they drift. I think a couple of people rip it still. I think D-Palms ripped it like one of these events. I fully agree with that on that brutally downhill conversation about when we die. I think fuck it. I'm going on record. You can have my car. I'm a record. You can have my car.
What the fuck?
I don't know. Drive it. Do something with it though. You got to do something with it.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. Share it too.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
just gonna let everybody else drive. It's not mine. We're gonna do the same shit. Okay.
But here we are. So right now, up into this podcast, it sounds like I'm a massive Formula Drift defender.
Yeah, but we're sitting in front of your absolutely gorgeous
13 that I've purposely kept like low power.
Yeah, street style. Fucking.
No, this is actually what I'm all about. Yep.
Like lowrider art. Like it's fucking sick.
This is literally what I'm about is like low cars, good style, great wheels, buy the wheels, then build the car around it. That's like build your whole body kit around the wheels. Like if you go like that was like the thing in Forza. Like first mod you do is like the wheels, and then you're like, all right, now I'm gonna pick the stupid body kit and stuff or whatever it is. You know, you always pick the wheels first. Wheels are so important, and that's like kind of my aspect around building this whole car as well. I've had it for a very long time. Yes, I could have put LS in it or any of this other stuff that I preach. LS is the best engine. I preach that all the time, and I'm a dummy with an SR. And you can't convince me otherwise. It's just I know the LS is the best engine. If you break down in the middle of nowhere, Virginia, you go to a parts store and get your sensor and stuff like that. It makes sense to have an LS. Instant torque, be a lazy driver if you want to.
Yeah, that's why it's bad.
It's sure. Yeah, it sounds like now I'm getting tired of the sound of the LS. You know what gets me really excited? Hearing a blow-off valve during drifting. Like when's the last time you heard a quality blow-off valve? Like the exhaust is kind of quiet. You're like, oh yeah.
You're like, is that HKS?
Yeah, like the sound of blow-off valves are sick. Like quiet tires. Like your tires aren't squealing. And you're shoot. That's like the best drift car there. I was like, hell yeah, guy. You got it. Like I haven't heard a blow-off valve in Formula Drift in a century.
Yeah.
I haven't heard a blow-off valve in FD in a long time. But that's like my Cars Power FC. About to go Haltech.
Nice. Yeah. You got it.
They shout out Haltech. They called me this week and they sponsored me. I didn't call them. Somebody called me to give me an ECU. Freaking out.
That's pretty sick.
I know, but now I have to like pay to tune the cars. Like it's like the wildest gift to ever get. You're like, oh my god.
Hey, we're gonna make your life more complicated, kind of.
Yeah, you're gonna make more power. You're gonna blow your transmission more often. Like it's like the weirdest. It's like giving unhealthy chocolates like at Valentine's Day. You're like, I love you. You're beautiful. Fatten up a bit. You know, like I don't know. It's like it's not good for me. You're gonna make me broke.
Yeah.
This is not what I needed. I stayed Power FC, so like I stayed in my happy power range.
Yeah. It's like a gift that, you know, keeps on giving.
I guess.
Empty pockets.
Now I want the dash. The dash is expensive. But you gotta have the dash.
Yeah. Negotiate. Right? Yeah.
Do you have a dash?
Yeah.
It's sick, right?
Yeah.
God, man. It's like so race car.
I know.
Dashes are so cool.
I like teeter, you know.
You're teeter race car?
I teeter between like race car and like street style. I'm pretty race car.
Yeah, you're pretty street style. Yeah. I mean, if you're on 265, that's pretty race car.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big tire, man.
Yeah, I like a big tire.
I like a long area.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, brother.
You did a backy and your trunk opened.
Yeah. Jared didn't say so. But.
It was sick. Was it because you didn't latch your trunk or was it the sheer force of the backy?
No, the trunk was latched.
Oh, sick. So it was that rowdy.
The latch is like was a little fucked up. I can't remember what happened.
But you were going so backwards that it put your trunk up.
Yeah, it scooped my like rear wing and like popped my trunk open.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Well, when you're doing like 100 miles an hour backwards. Like,
suck that, Kaufman. Kaufman thought he wanted it until you threw the back trunk open.
We were talking about it.
Yeah?
Yeah, he was like...
I think Kaufman... Was it you talking to me? No, I think Kaufman was talking to me. He's like, oh, we'll try to get a good lap with him this year or something. We kept trying to... And there was a lot of slow traffic.
You know what? I want to look right at the fucking camera. Every time I try and drive with Kaufman, he fucking just doesn't wait for me at the line.
Just leaves?
Like, he just fucking bombs off. I'm like, dude...
He said there's a lot of slow traffic and you kept getting held up or something. He's like, but like you guys talked, to quote me right, you guys talked about getting a lap,
Laguna
right?
is so big that you just like never see people unless you're like running up on people. I'm not going to name any names, but like if you're fast on Laguna, like you're not going to catch anybody because
you just got your own track.
Especially like by the end of the lap, like you might like as you go out in like a group, everybody just like spaces out.
Well, and that's another thing. You don't see a lot of tandem from that event. You don't see a ton of tandem. Think about it.
I chased Jason down the corkscrew. That was fucking sick.
That's scary.
It was really scary.
That's so much fun. I wish you had more wheel speed, more tire smoke.
Thanks, Jason. Yeah, different Jason.
I saw that comment, Jason. There's like a sick clip of him hitting the corkscrew, and like the first comment's like, "Dope. It would be cooler if you made wheel smoke."
Yeah. I think he's kidding, but like. My car makes 400 horsepower. Like, I'm not.
It's like this super sick drift, like, arguably, like, going down the corkscrew with a really good looking car. Sick. It'd be better if you had smoke.
Yeah, maybe it's the KFs. They're too heavy. Can't get the wheel speed.
The dude drifts a wagon with, like, a Barra engine. Screw you.
Yeah, my response to him was, let me borrow your engine.
Coming over here, America, talking trash to us Americans. I ain't going to have it.
Give me your Ford V.
I'm not going to have it.
Yeah.
Why don't you go tow something?
Oh, my God.
Who else you want to talk about? Who else you want to talk trash about?
Who do I hate? It's a short list. Anyway, we'll talk about comments. So we were talking about the turn 1, 2 thing. And I was like, dude, you got on Sports Center. And he's like, that backy was fucking sick. And I'm just like, yeah, but like.
I mean, he broke the land speed record, and it was cool because he came out of like a hiatus. He was in like in a low key retirement. Like he was still doing stuff. He just won like LS Fest that year, like but in like a low key retirement. Like wasn't posting a lot of media. Yeah, and then just like top of the turn, you can see the car get light.
My friend filmed that. That's like a phone clip of just like
you can literally see the car like get light.
Well, and so this year they had Matt tandem into that, and so they both blasted at full speed. And we were sitting, they like let Matt Field and Matt Kaufman go out together for like 2 or 3 laps before our session. Just let them go like burn the whole track together. And Field followed him in just like full blast. And they like, we're sitting in pit lane and like Nick Swan's like right there, like holding everybody. And dude, it would just fucking like pretty much like bumper to bumper down the front straight and like coming up because there's like a pretty
oh yeah, you come out the seat
and then you like drop in to turn from 1 to 2.
And it just keeps getting steeper.
It doesn't look like that on camera. It's like actually a pretty big drop. So like they come up and they're like bumper to bumper and they just fucking pretty much ride that like left wall. Not even like in drift yet, like just barely spinning tire, like maybe like 5% slip and just like fucking both huck it in over the hill. And I'm just like,
so you start wide left, far left to go to a fully blind sweeper.
In tandem, like bumper to bumper at like 140. And I was just like, all right, that was like, say what you want about like FD or FD cars, like that was
sick. That was fucking sick. And maybe FD just needs sick tracks.
I've been saying that for fucking ever. Like, Ryan, spend some money, dude. So the inner workings of how that Formula Drift works. I think they lose money. They make money in Long Beach because they're hired on or whatever as a thing. Road Atlanta is the most expensive track in the entire world to rent. OSW pays for the rest of the Formula their season. I think OSW is like $250 to rent. And like the rest, it just pays the rest of the season. That's how FD works. I'm sure Long Beach is expensive, but Long Beach is fucking sick.
It's a massive opportunity for drifting. It's also one of the worst things for Formula Drift. Long Beach is one of the worst things for FD.
Because it's the most treacherous track and everybody like destroys their
and
shit.
It's not the same
round
track
one.
it was 5 years ago. It's not the same. This year it'll be a different track. Because, I mean, all those tire stars beat off of walls. Another car runs over it and it sticks to the track.
Jeez.
And then tire stars beat off the wall. Next car runs over it, melts it to the track. So you have like so much rubber melted to the track that if you see a car on the wall, they're too wide. They're not supposed to be there. If a rear bumper's on the wall, they've gone too wide.
Yeah.
Like you have to be like off the wall so that your tire doesn't get in that like weird slip, or you're just going to wad it. Your car's going to crunch the rear. And then like you go into a direct 90. Do you know how many people wreck it on the first turn at that track?
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at a white wall and like some tires.
Full blast.
Mike Power, God bless him, fucked his season up because of that wreck.
Yeah, that was rough.
It was really rough. And he's a good driver. Damn good driver. But we Novak's car, like we pretty much totaled our chassis and we're like, all right, don't say nothing the rest of the year. Like pretty much totaled the car out at Long Beach. And so for the rest of the season, like we're ripping subframes out the front, steering racks won't hold on to the subframe. Like we're ratchet literally a couple runs had ratchet straps holding the rack to the subframe because the rack would shift because the whole car's tweaked because of Long Beach. Long Beach is tough, man. It's tough. Turk lost a car there one year and a concussion, like right before top 32. He was the last run in practice and wadded the car. His FRS, brand new build.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Nah, that's one of the worst. That's probably one of the worst things for FD is Long Beach. It's exciting. I hate it. I hate it because it's like my friends too.
Yeah,
and like
you're watching your friends kill themselves to do this stuff.
And just immediately out. I talked about how it sucks losing a top 32. Imagine not even getting that.
Yeah. I have a question for you
Talk to
that
me.
you could probably answer and not a lot of people could.
Yeah.
Do you think it's possible for someone to go to FD who has a regular 9-to-5 job and does not have financial backing from either family or connections or whatever? Like,
No.
Is that a possibility today anymore?
If you own your own shop, and it really needs to be like a shop because the car needs around the clock. You need, in between each round, you have to work on the car at least like a minimum of 80 hours needs to go into each car before the next round. And if anybody says otherwise, their car's not going to last. No, it's like subframes crack and you may not see it, but you need to pull the subframe and look. Like those things happen. These big tires will break a car, especially Pro 1. It used to be like roughly $10,000 per round. If your tires aren't sponsored, it's closer to like 15 to 20 now. Especially if you want to be competitive. Pro or Pro Spec, yeah. Their Pro costs just as much as Pro Spec. They're the same car, same everything.
Different tire.
Different tire. Yeah, same exact thing. But the Pro Spec teams now, they have the same amount of crew, whether your crew's working for you for free or not. But like, yeah, if you have a free crew, a lot of times you only make it so far. Crew's a lot.
Yeah.
Crew's a lot. You got to get 5-minute rules, practice, and stuff like that. No. I think the closest thing that we have an example to that is Jonathan Hurst. Jonathan Hurst runs Pro 1. He works for himself. He busts his ass and stuff, but like still, I think with like a good tire deal, he's still coming out close to $100,000 a season out of pocket. Yeah, maybe a little bit less
out of pocket
with sponsors. Yeah, maybe 60 to 80, but no, he's still spending it. So like, it's not a sustainable career, realistically. It's not like if you're going after it to make a career, you have to work harder than everybody else on the field. And I hate to tell you, but everybody's busting their ass. So like you have to be an Iron Man to like make a career out of it. Yeah, if that makes sense. Like you have to have media every freaking day. You have to post every single day. You have to send out post-race driver follow-ups. And even at that, you still have to perform. You still need a podium. We see drivers like Travis Reeder, great driver, podiumed in his car, built a pro car. Awesome. I just saw it posted for sale the other day.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. It's not a sustainable thing. Kaufman, we're talking about Kaufman. He's taking the same car that he was out going for podiums. He never podiumed. Phenomenal driver, breaking the internet, going on SportsCenter, doing something else with his pro car. But no, I think for you, the price range is way closer to $150,000 plus for a Pro 1 season.
Yeah.
with sponsors. Like
prospects, probably like what, 100?
180 to 100, yeah, 20,000 around. That's like your
And you need a
gas,
fuck ton of free time.
You need a fuck ton of free time. Because even if you're like, no, I could totally do it for 60. No, put it into the wall one time, and now you got to go to the frame machine, and now you got to get backup wise fab, backup coilover, backup this, backup that. I guarantee you don't have a sponsor for every part of that corner of the car or body shop, you know, and then you got to buy the over fenders, a hood. And that's just to get your car back. That's not what it is to get to the next round, your transportation, your flights, and how good you're treating your team. Nah, it's wild. I don't have that money. I love being around it and having the opportunity with people that can afford it. But no, if I inherited a box full of cash, I would have to have a hard thought about going to FD. And I am a massive Formula Drift fan. Yeah, because there is like 0.00001% of them that actually make it to that. Like, I'm making a career.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even at that, I feel like the imposter syndrome and keeping it alive has to be like tremendously stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think these people are jaded at all. I think they're stressed out every single day about their contracts. Because like, it's not like you don't have a 9 to 5 where you're like, oh man, I need to get with my boss and see if I'm renewed for next year.
Yeah.
You know, like, could you imagine every year going to your boss and being like, did you like me? You know, like, that's what happens. That's a life of a professional driver is like, and then you have to be secretive, like looking for other jobs, other sponsors or other titles or other opportunities.
Yeah. You got to be fluent in business.
Crazy fluent in business. You need to know your economics.
Confident, well, like, take care of yourself. You have to be a killer.
Mm-hmm. Because again, you got to put up the scores. If you're not putting up, you know, the points, like, see you later. FD dropped a lot of drivers this year. I know you don't pay attention to it too much, but Andy Luck, shout out Andy, one night during SEMA just had to send a lot of emails, like 38 emails to drivers that did not get their FD license.
Because they're probably going around shopping sponsorships, and they're like,
they think they have their license for next year. They're at SEMA selling their program.
Yeah.
And they get an email on like the second or third day of SEMA saying you are no longer driving for Formula Drift. Pulled their licenses. Did you not know about this?
I did not know about this.
There's a handful of drivers in pro that have the option to go back to pro spec, and there's a handful of pro spec drivers that now have to go back to pro am to earn a Formula Drift license. There's a handful of drivers that are just not welcome back.
That's wild.
It's wild.
But it's good.
It's good. It's good. As long as you're not one of those drivers.
I don't know who those drivers are.
Yeah.
I do feel bad for them.
Of course.
But also, like, you know.
Make room.
You can't. Yeah. Make room for the fucking rippers that are going to make it exciting. And
exactly.
Please bring back the rules that allow people to tandem close and win, because that shit's way cooler.
I think there's and qualifying. I know you don't watch a whole lot of Formula Drift, but they did this like seating bracket thing. Do you know about it?
I heard about it.
That's all you need to know. I don't know how it works. I swear to God, like I'm sitting there with like Chris Forsberg, a lot of like really popular guys all season long, and we're like, "Do you know who you see in 32?" No. And they put the bracket out before you ever get to the event. And we're still like, if this person wins, I think I'm over here. Or if it doesn't make any sense. Let us qualify. Make it entertaining.
Yeah.
Do something with it. I don't know.
Qualifying in Formula One, you know?
Put the camera inside the car. Why can't we put cameras inside cars and stream it?
It's a great question.
What are we doing? It's OSW. It's not traveling to the other side of the track. Jesus Christ. She could put a camera in a car and live stream it the whole time. I feel like we could do that.
I do feel like one of the biggest things that was always really frustrating as like a person who liked drifting and would like put on FD rounds every once in a while. Like, I don't know how the live stream is now, but it was always like people's names were wrong and like shit was wrong, and like it's
a firm B-.
Okay.
It's a firm B-, like, because every time the name's wrong, there are 28 other ones that are correct. So you got to give a take.
Yeah, but this isn't like
You're right, because how does it
This
feel as
isn't
your
like-
driver that you invested the $150,000 a season? And you're like, you don't have my picture up there. You just have a black outline of me.
That's what
I'm
I'm
here
saying.
at all 8 rounds, and you
the
can't take a
people
picture
who
of me?
handed over the $70,000 to get them there,
Yeah,
like, show my driver, you know? Like,
absolutely.
It's just like, and it's like, that's gonna ward off, because not all these sponsors are gonna go to every round. But if you put $10,000 into somebody's program, and like you're really passionate about FD, and you're sitting at home with your family watching this spectacle on a live stream because that's the only place you can watch it, and they fucking get your driver's name wrong, like, you're gonna be like, what the fuck is this fucking circus? Like,
There's
Barnum and Bailey.
Yeah.
Come on in.
Barnum and Bailey,
yeah.
come on.
I bet their live stream. No, anyway.
No, their live stream is
I'm
good.
Fucking, you know
there's a lack of it's a production. It's a production. Of course, there's like things that you have to break down, but you're right. It's been a lot of time. And like I think like Jared's phenomenal at what he does. There's a lot of haters on it and stuff like that, but he is good at what he does.
I've talked to him about it.
Yeah.
I kind of called him out about the baggy clip because I posted the live stream where he like was like, that was a mishap. And then so like I was like,
we gotta talk now, guy. Those are fighting words, by the way.
Huh.
Those are fighting words.
Yeah, calling my baggy mishap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so we talked it out. But I explained to him that like you guys are the X Games and like
we're street.
Yeah, like I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's different. But like watching people in the X Games, like if you're gonna commentate on something, it's hard for like somebody who's like, I don't know. I guess I don't know what I would compare myself to. Like in the like I'd be like I would say like Animal Styles probably like in the like Thrasher realm. You know?
Yes, of course. I would definitely say that.
Like,
I would
so
definitely
like,
say that.
I'm sure there's like a bunch of like Thrasher like hash skate dudes that like don't watch the X Games.
So, well, this is the thing. So Thrasher's really famous, not really famous for this reason, but Thrasher's really good at featuring the dopest street, like the dopest section, the dopest setup, the dopest, the gnarliest of the gnarly.
Yeah.
And you can't, in Grassroots are kind of like what we do, you know, it's a lot harder to have that thing happen. You guys have videos that have reached over 1 million views though, you know? So you guys have cracked that egg. You and Shane have created some beautiful content to where it really just gets like the Grassroots guys like, like the style guys,
Will Rogie,
Brandon
Cotto.
We're talking some of the most talented videographers.
We got very lucky to have people who film fucking car commercials, like make dumb parking lot drifting videos for us. Like,
hey bro, I know you're doing Range Rover next week, but can you get this backy? Like,
but they're like hyped about.
That's literally what that's a real thing. And no, but that's what you kind of needed though in that street scene, because there's only so much you can do as drifting. There's only so much that we can do. We're not gonna kickflip our cars. You know, we're not gonna. Some people have.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that show on Netflix for like Fielding Shredders? They did like a 50-50 ride.
Yeah.
In, like
Hyperdrive. Yeah. That was like what everybody was talking about during. Was it like?
I think it was like COVID.
Yeah. So I went to like some like birthday thing, and someone's like, people who know nothing about drifting, they're like, "Did you see Hyperdrive?" And I'm just like, I know like a couple of the people that are on that show,
and it's kind of wild too.
Like one of my shop mates, like Sherry and Alex. So Sherry went, and like she was in it for like 2 seconds because like I think she got a little like nervous and flustered and made some mistakes. But apparently she was like the second fastest in practice, and then she had to like swap transmissions, they changed the track and all this stuff. But like
they flooded their cars and stuff. Like they did a lot of bad things.
All these things.
So funny story, like the host of that show, like his truck's right, it's directly to the right of us, but at Rutledge.
He was the only. Never mind. I don't want to say it.
Whatever you want to say.
I found him tolerable on the show. I thought he was good. Yeah.
He's great. Did you watch The Floor is Lava?
I did.
It was great.
Yeah.
He's really good.
Yeah,
he's really good. Now, if you want to compare him to Top Gear UK, that's a hard one.
Jeremy Clarkson.
Yeah, I mean,
but Jeremy Clarkson like invented that job.
Correct. So go to Top Gear America, and it's just like that's a hard shoe to fill. Yeah. So like, he's great on Floors. He's great on Top Gear America, but like, you also have Jeremy Clarkson compared to.
Yeah, Jeremy Clarkson also had like 25 years to perfect that job too.
I know, and like, I don't know if you know this, but it was the same. I think it was the same director or producer. It was one of the two that did the UK show that also did the US. So it's like the same show, just different hosts.
It's tough.
It's tough. It's a tough crowd.
Yeah.
But that he was telling us that it was the same lighting director on that Hyperdrive show that does Ninja Warrior. And he's like,
it was Car Ninja Warrior.
It was Car Ninja Warrior. And I was like, oh my God, they get Breeze season 2 back. And he was the quickest person to be like, nope, they spent too much money. Like, he's like, it was insane. He's like, did you see the show? They had a seesaw for cars. Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, where is that seesaw now? Like, who has the seesaw? Like, who the fuck has this like drift car seesaw sitting in their backyard? It's specifically made for this. Like,
it's like a scrapyard in Staten Island, dude, for sure. They melted that motherfucker down 1,000%.
Oh my God, that show was insane. And there was a period there, and like, there's another show that I saw. Do you ever see it was like Getaway or whatever? You had to like run
Lex
away.
King was on that one.
Yeah, Kelsey Rollins was in. Oh, George Grobb wanted T-Pain's car on that show. Did you know that?
I don't even like know the lore behind that whole thing. Like I didn't even.
You're in George Grobb territory. This is Georgia.
I didn't like watch the whole thing. Like I don't know what happened.
You don't know?
No.
T-Pain went wild. I've never seen an A-list celebrity just go like, all right, guys, sit down. We're going to talk about a shitty drift car guy for like 2 hours. And like Snapchat.
Did you know this dude beforehand?
We knew that. Absolutely. Yes.
And so you're just like watching.
We knew this was going to happen.
You're watching this guy who's made music that you've listened to for like 15 years or whatever, just like tear apart somebody that you know.
We knew the car was wanted. The show was already out. And we're like, did you tell T-Pain? Like the car's in his shop, like fucked up. He wasn't supposed to use the car. T-Pain had no idea that he was using the car for the show. And the cops pit maneuvered him and sandwiched him. And he's like, the heck. No, screw George Grobb. Screw you. That was bad. You made drifting look bad. You made T-Pain get really upset about his drift car. Screw you. Like, I'm on T-Pain's side 110%. Did you see the build? He built the car. It was like, no, it's not okay. That's not okay.
Yeah. Don't do people like that.
Don't do people like that. He's still doing people like that. He's got another shop now, or he's posting pictures from Lamborghinis.
Allegedly.
I love characters, man.
Yeah, Vince McMahon would hire him.
Vince
for
McMahon
FD.
and him.
He'd be like a crew chief.
George Grobb should run FD.
You know
I did see. So George Grobb came up in the spotter tower like last year, and he did something dude. Oh, I don't want to like call out too many names, but the person that I was with just grabs me like really tight on the arm, like tight,
like
and,
prepare yourself.
Pulls me over. George Grobb is in the spotter tower with us right now. I'm like, what? George Grobb is in the spotter tower right now. And I look over and like, he's not even spotting. I don't know what he's doing, but he did something that made me hate him even worse. Like an unspeakable thing, like something that just triggered me worse than like fire ant bites. Like he just pissed me off. You know what he did?
What?
We're in the spotter tower. Nobody's talking up there. You know, we all got our game face on. We're taking notes. You know, nobody fucking talks to one another up there. Like, shut the fuck up. We're here to win, right? He starts talking into his iPhone, doing texts. He's talking.
Voice to
Respawn
text?
back, blah, 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 blah. And then, voice to text. Could you?
In the spotter tower. Dude.
Like, literally, I think somebody kicked him out. Or no, I think it was Andy Luck. Shout out Andy Luck. I think Andy's like, where's your name badge or something. I think he had one and he still got kicked out. I think he had credentials, so he's like, not good enough. Like, yeah.
We're going to add that. Another Andy Luck story to the Goodest cast.
Oh,
we got a few of them.
Really?
Yeah. We're probably like 4 or 5 now.
There's that autographed picture that's in y'all's room of Chris Helmsworth or whatever. Andy Luck sent that to my fiance.
No way.
Sent an autographed picture of her man crushing me. No, fuck Andy. I'm like, wait, didn't have me addressed to it. It had her name addressed to it. Like, fuck you, Andy. That's my girl.
That's a fucking power move and a
That's
half.
a power move and a half, right? No, he said some nice shit about me at SEMA. God bless you, Andy. Yeah, I like him. He looked at like Cole and he said something nice about me to him. And I was like, all right.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah. Because I look up to that dude. He's been around drifting for a very long time.
Yeah.
He's a grumpy old man. I like him.
They need an enforcer, bro.
Yo, for real.
There's some characters.
All right. So let me turn the interview on to you just for like super
Every
quick.
time.
Just like super chill.
Sure.
Super chill.
Yeah.
Your style guy, front, back, side to side. Your comments on improving Formula Drift. Better tracks.
Yeah. Like, for example, I'll lean into that. Like, you watch RDS.
Mm-hmm.
All those tracks are fast.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't give a fuck about tire smoke. I know that's like a fucking thing, but like I don't give a fuck about tire smoke. I want to watch fast drifting, exciting chases, bumper sweep transitions, and like dooring, and like people hauling ass. And tire smoke and hauling ass are not the same thing.
Make the zones difficult to get to, not how much tire smoke do you have in the zone. You know they choose like tire smoke and lighting off tire smoke. They judge by that.
I know.
That's
it's
wild.
Idiotic. It means low ground speed, high wheel speed.
They know when
it
we're
also
not
means going through way more tires and making the sport unobtainable because now you're going to get a boring chase run because the dude cooked his tires in one lap.
There are 125 mile, 130 mile per hour wheel speed tracks out there. Like,
I agree.
What are you doing?
Yeah, I agree. But, you know, you're not going to get the spectators all in one place. Like, I think, honestly, it sucks we lost Irwindale. Like, I know I hate, like, Banks and stuff, but, like...
It was sick. It was a good vibe.
It
was a good vibe.
The way that it's laid out, I think, allows people to carry a lot of speed, and it's exciting.
I'm glad that we were still alive at a time where we could stand on the infield of Irwindale and watch cars come at you into that second turn. So when you go to Irwindale Speedway, it's like a, picture kind of like almost an 8, but there's a kink and then you come back into the infield and you aim at the wall, but you're aiming at the wall at a good 70, 80 miles per hour, you know? And so I have brought drivers to that section just hanging out and like they go on the other side of the wall and they go, oh my God, I was doing that. I think it was Mike Power. Mike Power said that, like, oh my God, I'm doing this. Like, it is so intimidating to see how fast these cars are traveling at that wall. And none of us got killed on the other side of the wall. I'm so thankful for that. If a car hits that wall, they could have went flying over that wall and taken us all out, by the way. So I'm just thankful that nope, that never happened. That was like the coolest part of all the tracks at Irwindale was like, you get to like, and it's like hangout. Wherever, any track where there's no seats and you just get to stand around your boys, that's a cool vibe.
Yeah.
Don't put me in a seat.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun at LZ World Tour because it was just like everyone was standing on some dude's like 2-car trailer, but it was like 40 people. And we're all just like cheering people on. And like, it was a fucking big figure 8, like it wasn't the most exciting course, but like being there, it's different. So like, yeah, for people watching on the live stream, make the live stream really entertaining because that's the majority of the people who are going to see it, make your shit look professional and don't fuck people's names up and don't not get their picture up. Because guess what? Like, if I'm watching that, I'm like, oh, this is like lawnmower racing. Like, this isn't that serious.
But it should be.
Exactly. For the amount of money that people are putting into it, the amount of they're expecting of sponsors, the amount of like all this stuff, like
I kind of fully agree.
The live stream is everything.
I think so. That's a funny way you put this. So one of the main key components on where they choose a racetrack is bleachers. It's not that live stream doesn't even really come into the spectrum because I mean they get live stream out in Utah. If you go to
F1,
yeah,
live, it's cool for like the first like.
The sound of the car is neat.
It's amazing, but like all you can see is one corner. Yeah. Everybody just sits in the bleachers and watches the fucking screen.
Yeah, who gives a shit, right?
Like, but think about all the people watching at home.
I think we have
the commentary has to be really good.
Okay.
I think Jared's great.
No, I think Jared's great. I think me and you would be better. I'm just going to say it. There we go. I think Formula Drift should let us host ProSpec. How about ProSpec? Would you do ProSpec with me? If we were the two announcers for ProSpec. Yeah, I would do it. I would fucking do it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We know drifting. We drive. We understand it. We know what the trials and tribulations to get there. We are telling FD right now what we're expecting of them and stuff. Shit, put us in the fucking hot seat.
Yeah, we're going to give you an option here.
We're going to give you the option.
Yeah, put us in the hot seat. Prove us wrong that we suck.
And if you don't have the picture of the driver, I'm going to say, pull the camera over here. I'm going to show you the cell phone picture of this is the guy. Make sure he gets his airtime.
Yeah. They got his name wrong. It's actually
this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would be totally down for that. But okay, so better announcing. Go ahead. Jared's great.
Jared's great.
He's a great human.
He needs like a technical correspondent who also drifts, who can like explain things that's not also a judge.
Sick. I'd be down for something like that. So like if it was him, like say a Chelsea DeNova, like a charismatic, very knowledgeable, knows engineering.
When you watch F1, it's not like they always have like the punch up guy, like the dude who's like charisma and like carrying the thing, but then you also have like a previous driver who like knows all the intricate details of the cars and how the teams work and like,
it's the same with most sports, boxing, like
Yeah.
soccer, baseball, football. But for some reason, drifting is like, no.
Yeah, I think it's because Jared's been doing it a long time and like it hasn't been a problem. And I don't think it is a problem. But like if you're explaining things, like I remember sitting in the stands at Sonoma in 2005 when I was, or 6 or whatever, it was like one of the first years of FD. And Jared on the fucking speaker, they didn't even have a fucking live stream then. He's just talking to like, I don't know, 2,000 people. I don't know how many people are there, but it wasn't fucking packed. And he's like explaining, like, if you want to get into this, like if you want to get into this, you need a rear wheel drive car, you need a limited slip differential, and you need a bucket seat. And I like that stuck in my head, right? Like, and so when you have, like, I go back to anytime I'm commentating, like, even at final bout, I'm explaining like these cars all have similar final drive. So that means the wheels spin the same speed in second gear. I try and like dumb it down a lot as a driver and explain like why things are difficult. Like this team has 4 different cars and that means their gear ratios are different and that means their power delivery is different. And so the fact that they're all stacked, like stuff like that is really interesting to people. And I'm not to toot my own fucking whatever.
Toot, baby.
It like they send out a survey to people that come and like people really like that because there's people coming from like fucking Green Bay who don't know what, like they don't care that it's got a fucking Euros Type 4 kit. Like they want to know what's happening.
They want to know why certain teams are winning over certain teams. Right. They want to be a little bit more educated on what they're actually seeing. And I get it.
And they also want to have a good time. And like Jared definitely he does a good job of like keeping things fun. Dude, talking.
He's phenomenal at talking.
Fucking 8 hours,
phenomenal.
2 days in a row.
For 20 some odd years.
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
But we're willing to try it.
Last time they ran the final bout comp for like, it went like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
I went and like took a nap after. Like I was just like done. You know what I mean? Because it's like you got to be on, you got to be paying attention. You know, like so like that's a big one for me. But like having someone who can explain what is happening, what's going through the driver's head, why did they make that choice? Like they saw this is what I think happened. Like that's really important because otherwise like no one's gonna learn what they're watching. They're just gonna see it, make assumptions, and have like no concept of like what's actually happening. And
correct. I think that's very well said. I want to know why Corolla is, as a person who's not drifting or a drifter, why is that Corolla out there?
Right. It's lightweight.
Dumb it down.
Yeah.
Dumb it down for me. They put the engine, they twisted it, they made it work within the rules, and now we got a freaking Corolla drifting with us.
Right. And if you wanted to build that yourself,
fuck off. Like, good luck, sucker.
Yeah. I would be at like $200,000. Like
yeah. Actually,
and if you do, come on down.
Come on down. We're just
down.
You got another 2 to run a season. We're your people. You know. No, and so yes, Formula Drift has some things that need to change.
Yeah. And the other thing, like, it feels unobtainable. I think if you actually do drift, you're like, okay, this is not.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if you have a lifted pickup truck, you're not like necessarily. I don't know. That's a bad example. I'm trying to like.
No,
think
it's
of, like,
the same thing of like, okay, some people played Call of Duty over Halo because they wanted a realistic game.
Yeah.
And an obtainable game.
Right.
You know, and I think that's like the appeal to like some people that don't watch sci-fi.
You hang out at the mall long enough, a recruiter's gonna fucking sign you up.
He'll sweep
dude.
your ass up. Sign up, brother.
You want to serve your country?
Come on, support your country, King. But
you're gonna get that Dodge Charger you always wanted.
All right, seriously though, shout out to the military. They're like one of our biggest funders.
Absolutely.
Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, they we do a lot of military sales here actually. Yeah, we're next to a military base. Yeah.
So I've had like a lot of people reach out that are in the military that like listen to the pod on deployment and stuff. That's been like a nice.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm too much of a bitch. My eyesight's too bad. I got asthma. I got a crick in my. I'm too much of a bitch. I'm too much of a bitch. Like, I'm not. I would fight for my country, absolutely. I'm just gonna bitch about it. You're gonna hear me being like,
like my back hurts.
Yeah, you want me sleeping? I've never camped. Fun fact. I've never camped at all. I've been in like a billion campers that have like running water, like a fake fireplace.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
That's luxurious.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that's the closest I've ever gotten. If it's Chilly Willy, I'm fucking pissed. Like, nah, sleeping bag? Nah.
All right, I have a question for you. What could change in Grassroots?
Oh, I like this question. I think we need less events.
Interesting.
Maybe it's just the region I'm in, but I think we're getting a little bit too oversaturated with events. I think too many people are organizing events that are underqualified. And we're getting like these like I love watching them, but we're getting like the Lone Star Dirt, like this kid wadding cars. How many times you can't log on now without seeing a line of cars in a tandem that should not be in a tandem.
Yeah.
And the first car like fucks up 3 other cars, and like I saw it coming from a mile away. I think an organizer needs to see that and shut it down before it ever happens.
Yeah, some people may call like the Club Loose dudes like harsh.
Yeah, no,
in the way that they do it, but like now that I'm seeing kind of the alternative, I think they were onto something early, and I think like more organizations should know who should be driving together and who shouldn't. Like I actually agree with you. I think people are jumping in a lot more, and like trains are becoming more common. Like I don't know about like when you started, but like a drift train was crazy.
That wasn't a thing. That was an exhibition.
Yeah, like
you sent more than 2 cars out. That was like you're doing a demo.
Yeah, and like everybody better be fucking good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A train wasn't a thing.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, so
it wasn't
like,
a thing.
These days, I think like trains are getting a lot more common, and like every time my car's gotten like pretty whooped recently was like a train that was like impromptu and someone jumping in, and like I don't want to say that like that shouldn't be a thing, but I think it's becoming too common and not regarded as like something that you need to like make sure is okay.
Yeah. I think there's also a level of confidence in your driver. You need to be okay with holding a one finger out and hold it out all night. If you don't feel good about people following you and they want to run a hot lap setup, fuck you, dude. No, give me space. Like whatever it is, you know what? I don't think, and I think there are these event organizers also. They're like, you're out here to tandem, go and tandem, like pump the brake, because we have to remember like cars are also in America's second largest investment. And a car, as a fact, compared to a house, is a human second largest investment. Stop telling me to wad into a wall or sending me in a train and stuff like that. Like unless I really want to, dude, like hot lap stuff is sick and I get it. But I also see, just like the Club Loose guys, you need to kind of earn that.
Yeah.
You need to earn that.
I think a lot of organizations, like people will have like starters that just get hyped when there's a train, and they'll be like, come on, like 5. And you're like, no.
Yeah,
like,
no, I'm good. So I think like it's good to have a lot of drift events. Yes, you get to excel, build your skill. I think if you're on, like, if you own a racetrack and you're like every first Friday or every Friday we do drifting and stuff, I think that's phenomenal. I think that's great. I think there's a spot for that. I think as event organizers, there just needs to be less of it overall. There just needs to be less organizations. And they're always fighting with each other, double booking one another. I don't know how it is in California, but like,
yeah, it's gotten pretty crazy.
It's gotten so stupid. They're all talking trash about one another. This organization, come drift me over here. This crew rolls with me. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who really cares, honestly?
It has divided things quite a bit.
Yeah, like certain event organizers are like, this is my track. You want to drive this track, you got to go through me type thing, And I don't know why it's become like this. But like, yeah, there's so much drama. Yeah, there's drama in FD. There's so much drama in Grassroots.
Yeah.
It's wild. Yeah. It's wild, dude. And like, I'm so opinionated. I'm scared what people say about me, and in this weird sense. And like, I think about it all the time. I'm like, I love anybody who walks through our front door. It's just like, all right, I want to get into drifting. I'm like, how much time you got? Let's talk about it. You got to get you got it. Like, dude, I, before you talked about how I got into it, before any of this stuff ever happened, I walked into a drift shop, and his name was Say, and he passed away, but he owned a place called Finish Line. And he also ran Formula Drift. We're talking first year Formula Drift. They were sponsored by Toyo Tires. It was sick. And like, he was like, all right, I got no use for you, kid that knows nothing about cars. Pick up cigarette butts around the entire parking lot And he's like, we'll play RC car like together later on. And like we did that, picked up cigarette butts, and he's like, all right, help me out with this header install, and then we'll do something on your car together and stuff. And I was like, oh my God. What he did was he like gave me an opportunity. And I think that's like huge for a lot of people. And I think in Grassroots, we're slowly getting into this like snooty, like, nah, kid, park over there. Like, you pull up in a 350Z or a G35 four-door on stock wheels, you may be the coolest dude around, but you're not going to get the time of day from certain people. And it kind of sucks. Like, if you pull up in a four-door G35 that looks kind of stock and is a little raggedy with spray-painted wheels, people aren't going to give you the time of day. And that's a weird scenario that never was like that before drifting. Didn't matter if you had a Mustang. Didn't matter what. If you were in an MR2, it didn't matter. If you were getting around the track, we were like, sick. Look at them get around the track. That's tight.
Yeah.
And we congratulate them. We'd have those big wins and stuff.
Yeah.
And
the bar has been raised quite a bit, and kind of almost in an elitist way.
Almost in an elitist way, right? Yeah. You can see like this absolute ripper on 15-inch wheels on his S chassis, and he's got an LS. And you're just like, God, I hate that car. You're not even looking at his lap. You're not even looking at him.
Yeah.
I'm kind of guilty with it. If I see a pickup truck pull up, I'm going to be like, don't put me in his line. Doesn't matter what the pickup truck, doesn't even matter, dude. Yeah. You got an S10, I'm going to be, I want the other driver.
I was just at Apple Valley Grange, AVS, and I watched a like pre-runner.
It was so sick.
Tacoma tandem with a fucking C10 with carbon bed and like doors and shit, and an E46.
And it was sick.
It was a tandem train.
It was super sick.
And like a dude in a fucking, I don't know, some like Trans Am, and he was wearing like fucking, dude, he had like one of those like NASCAR helmets and fucking pit vipers, and he had like the microphone in front of his face, and I was like, that guy fucks.
Save some for the rest, guy.
Yeah. Just like blasting the straight. We're like,
just ready.
2 miles an hour too fast.
I feel like there's a vibe at Apple Valley. Like, I watch y'all out there, and I'm like, that track's got a vibe to it.
Oh, it's the Wild West.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
it really is, right?
Check out, like, I don't know. When we go, we drive it differently.
Okay.
Like, if you just go on like a regular day, like, it is wild.
I've seen it. It looks like it kind of looks like you're like on your way to Valhalla, and like there's dust everywhere because everybody's dirt dropping. So like if you drop dirt over there, like it sprays over to the pits, and then you see people
does not come off.
That doesn't. And
there's one cleaning product that takes the dust off. I'm not gonna say what it is until I reach out to them.
So you can literally like really rock a car there just in the dust.
Oh yeah.
And then I see people climbing mountains of tires with their cars.
Oh yeah.
I've never seen a car go that high up on tires.
People are like chucking their takeoffs like all along the front straight and all like in between the track and the wall. And the problem is like, you know, because you've been drifting a long time, like if you catch your rear bumper on a tire, like it's gonna flip the fucking car over. Yeah. And so like now it's even more sketchy because it's like track, tires, wall, and like
just give me the wall.
Yeah.
Just give me the wall.
Yeah. I'd rather hit fucking cinder blocks than tires.
And I'm like, it's hard to play it off. Like I see a lot of kids like on top of the wall and they're like on the roof, like, doing the whole pose. And like inside, I know they're crying. Like, bro, your car's like 7 feet off the ground on top of tires. Like, but that track's sick. There's a lot of reward to it too when you nail it.
If you full blast that straight and huck it in, like, it's fast.
Just a massive amount of reward.
Yota from like Splash from Japan was just there, and he's like, "Yeah, this is faster than Mahon."
Sick.
You know, and it's like I'm getting into fourth on a little go-kart track. Like it's fucking sketchy
with this much of a drop, with a foot drop off on either side if you dropped higher.
Yeah,
because everybody's just spraying the sand down.
And you just huck it in, and you're like, "All right,
let's hold." I saw my favorite was Kazuya.
Yeah.
He went out there and like I'm watching him blast off track, staying on throttle. And I'm like, this is the cutest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. He is like 4 tires off the track, like well way off the track. And like you hear a clutch kick. You're like,
He's trying not to hit the tires.
He's trying not to hit the tires. And I'm like, this dude. But then again, like after 3 or 4 times of him like launching off track, he like does this beautiful back E.
Yeah.
Holds the angle all the way through the second turn.
Because he is an incredible driver.
He's
out of the West Coast people, like in SoCal, I think he's like out of the people that I've driven with down there, I think he's one of the most impressive.
You know, he became one of y'all now. He dropped out of FD.
Yeah.
He's got the S15.
Yeah, that thing is
It's so sick. And he's just going to be driving with y'all.
Yeah.
Doing Hoppo events.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at it.
Dude, his S15 is so good.
He's such a good driver.
He's like,
but
the
that's
final
the thing.
boss. Like,
I drove with him and I was like, he's incredible. And then I watched him drive an FD and it's like, oh, okay. Like those cars don't drive the same. And so like he's trying to do, I don't want to say like too much, but he said like, just like having to learn English, he had to learn like Western drifting. Yep. Like it's very different. Like where the cars go, like outer zones, like, you know, you watch D1 and it's like, there's a lot of inner clips and they do inner clips and you can, if you're the chase car, you can drop 2 in the front and flick and like do all this stuff. Like to me, I like watching that more because that's like the type of driving that I try and emulate. And like you watch an FD and it's like, okay, it's like outer zone, outer zone, outer zone, you know.
They'll ding you for a late transition. And a late transition in a lead car is like, oh, that's ballsy. You know what I mean? If you like hold it, late transition back on throttle, like that's
yeah.
And then like, you see that, like the snappy, you see it in FD.
They're like, oh, it's hard to chase. And you're like, it's cool.
It's cool. Yeah. So what if it's hard to chase? There is dead man zones in between each section. Stop telling us how to get through them if you're not judging them.
Yeah.
If you're not telling me, no.
That would be like Monster Jam being like, okay, well, just don't jump over the cars.
Just skip the cars.
Yeah, just skip the car. Just drive around them. It's like, don't fucking cut the balls off it.
Did you know what Barnum and Bailey did?
What?
They pulled all cars. There's no more cars in Monster Jam. It's all dirt ramp. There's no more cars. They cut the balls. I know. I'm like crazy right now.
I don't know if I've ever been more upset in my life.
They cut cars. Dennis Anderson's no longer driving. He's too old. I don't know what you want.
Is this what old people feel like? When they're like, they took cars from Monster Jam.
Oh, God. I remember this whole podcast was like, I remember one and how can you fix it? This is the whole podcast is, I remember when, how can you fix it? Go back to how it used to be.
I want...
Whatever.
I want Matt Power fucking flat towing his goddamn KHE around the tracks.
I want Justin Pollock in an FC and some soft food. God damn it. I remember I was there the day that they zeroed out a backwards entry in FD where they called it a 0. Comrade Grunwald and a Camaro of all cars.
Hell yeah.
I know. I was like, fuck, you couldn't have been like
I was surprised
cool.
the fucking like NASCAR like roof fucking protector thing. The
little flap
come up when
God, I would love that. In your car, dude, back is in your trunk and NASCAR flaps come up. Oh.
Don't tell me it was a good time.
You're just gonna start the sawzall on your roof. You're like, I got an S14 now. Fuck
Sorry,
this.
Aaron.
Yeah,
for paying it.
Little flaps would be.
We'll
sick.
do it again.
I'm so down for little flaps. We were at Sema last week. We saw. Do you remember they used to put clear Lexan on the end plates of spoilers?
Yeah.
Nobody does that no more.
No.
It's a weird flex that nobody sees.
Yeah.
Does it make you a better driver? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever drifted with a rear spoiler?
Yeah.
Is it better?
I just put one on. I was able to like do so I kind of cheated. I understand how like downforce works and shit. Like,
of course.
You know, like a little bit.
Oh.
I just like looked at it. I was like, I don't know if I want. Like,
you literally have no idea how many foot-pounds your spoiler's putting off your sports, do you?
No.
Okay. Let's be clear.
I tilted it so that it's like
not right.
I tilted it so that the front like lip and the back lip are the same height.
Oh, so it's like acting like an airplane trying to take off.
So it does like nothing pretty much. Yeah. Because it's like it's designed for downforce, but I tilted it up enough where it doesn't do anything. It's like an airplane just like flying straight. Yeah. Well, I was like, I don't want it to change the way
this is literally drifting.
The car drives.
This is what drifted. I added a rear spoiler to my car and I adjusted it to make sure it did jack shit.
Dude, I have polished fucking aluminum wing stands. Like, what do you want from me? It's a fucking silver carbon swan neck, and I was like, it's gonna make the car look so sick.
Swan necks are the best spoiler.
I was like, the kit isn't gonna work without the wing. I have to do it, but I also don't want to change the way the car drives, so I just tilted it a little bit.
Swan necks are the best spoiler.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're the best looking.
Yeah,
hands down.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Yeah,
I like drag spoiler and then swan neck.
Same. I was like I did a low mount like pretty early on my 13.
Those are fun. They're fun. They're fun, and they can be done right, you know. And I think I remember on your 13 it did look good. It was low. I probably would have won Urus drag, but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, swan neck is the goal though.
Swan neck's pretty
They're
cool.
expensive.
Yeah.
Good on you. Big daddy bucks over here.
Yeah, I had to do it. But anyway, so yeah, no, I didn't. I took it off for Laguna because I was like, I don't want to.
You ripped the trunk off this dude.
I was worried.
Trunk opens one round, the next one is just gonna come off.
I was worried that if I back it in, I'm gonna have a lot of fucking force on that trunk latch.
Because now it's bent backwards. Also, technically, for when you're going backwards, now it's making downforce.
Yeah. Well, it's making fucking trunk open force, and so like I'm really worried about that. And also, I have these big aluminum wing stands that like are gonna go through my back window if the trunk pops
I'm glad that
open.
you put thought through this because that all could have happened.
Yeah.
You could have died.
And I had so many DMs like, bro, you took the wing off, like sell me it. I'm like,
I'm just looking out for my life right now.
Yeah,
okay,
it's like I didn't want to explode my. I have stickers I can't replace on there. You know?
Yeah. Also, okay.
I'm more worried about the stickers.
Did you know what is the price of vinyl? I love liveries. I'm over them costing so much.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I have to say about
PSA.
that. PSA, stop making vinyl so expensive.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be a cheaper alternative to paint, not be more.
Yeah. Don't do a wrap.
Don't do rep, but even my graphics, my livery and stuff, like all they're doing is press and print.
Yeah.
And it's so expensive.
Get a fucking plotter in here.
I'm about to.
Yeah.
I could buy a plotter. I'm about to put everybody out of business. Making crappy old stickers at companies that don't exist anymore.
Yeah. Now we're talking.
Let's go. That's what drifting is. Just showing off how old you are.
Back in my day.
It's like the coolest thing. If you're like one of the OG original drifters, you're like, oh, that's Tony Angelo. You back in the day. Ooh.
I still cannot believe. I was like sitting and my ex-girlfriend was watching The Bachelor and like fucking Tony Angelo just like pops up on TV and I'm like, what the fuck? And then some dude just starts like crashing into like boxes. I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
Tony Angelo things are happening. Tony Angelo, that's what's happening. But no, if you're one of the OGs,
and he's
you're
like
the coolest
guy
guy
whichever
ever.
ones you don't pick, like let me know, you know.
Arguably the coolest person in the world is Ross Petty.
Yeah.
I saw him the other day. I saw him in Vegas.
He's still alive?
I was wild. He's in Vegas building off-road cars.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
I went to his house like 3 or 4 years ago, actually. Like Ryan took me by, but like, yeah. So I'm at a bar, and it was like one of those really like you thought my Dennis Anderson experience was awkward. This was even weirder. Because like I know I was at his house like 3 years ago. He doesn't remember me being at his house 3 years ago. We find that halfway through our conversation. He's like, "So you a big fan of drifting?" And I was like, "Oh, my friends are over there. I gotta go."
Was he gonna tell you he was Ross Petty?
I told him, I was like, "Hey Ross, good to see you. You know, friends with Ryan. I don't know if you remember me." And he's like, "Oh, you know." But like I was just like, you know, just I don't even know why I'm over here. You know, like kind of conversation. It's kind of like I remember your beard. I want to start talking to you. And like halfway through the conversation, I'm like, this isn't working out.
Do you remember when he showed up to Long Beach with like no sponsor stickers and like InfoWars on his car?
He had Ron Paul down the side of his car.
Yeah. And like Rasta camo.
Nobody ever knew, but like he had an outline on his roof, even when he was with Falcon. Falcon didn't notice it. But it was a pig riding a chopper and then a naked girl riding the pig, like backwards. But it was like only the outline in gold mirror, so you couldn't really tell until like you zoom out. Oh yeah. And that was on there for a long time. Ross Petty was
what a
wild.
character, dude.
What a fucking character. I know Ross Petty way back when, and I stayed with him and Pat Mordaunt back in the day. Pat Mordaunt, what a great dude. Fuck you, Dad. That's That's all I used to hear Pat Mardot. He'd be in the pits like, fucking dad, get the goddamn car back together. Anyways. So,
I don't know anything about this. Hilarious.
Oh, really? Yeah. Pat Mardot. Well, he was a little kid and he was a little shit back in the day because he was a little kid. And I mean, he's a great dude now. He works for Porsche. Yeah, he's a great guy. But I was hanging out with Ross Petty and it was the first time I ever smoked hash. And I'm like, I share that experience very closely. You know, I'm not a big stoner or anything, but I was like, oh my God, you know, I have to say yes to this opportunity, right? Like, oh, yeah, whatever. And like, so that's like a memory that I've hold at my core for life. And now like, I'm almost pissed off at Ross Petty for not remembering me at all a couple weeks ago. I'm like, I think about you all the time. And he's like, I don't know who you are.
Let's go. So you're a big fan of drifting? And you're like, yep, I
am.
Yep.
Yeah, I am. Not that you were my only character I played on the PS1 game when it first came. I'm not gonna get there. I'm not gonna even get there. And then Alex.
At least
Pfeiffer.
you didn't cry and run away this time.
There's not a drifter I would do that with. Thank God. I don't think.
Yeah.
Alex Pfeiffer would be the closest. I think Alex Pfeiffer is like
he's a NorCal legend.
He's the best.
I like Pfeiffer a lot.
I like Pfeiffer a lot. He came from Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I watched his old Hawaii videos. Those were sick.
When he was in NorCal, he used to run the like mountains with like one of my friends that got me into drifting. Like my friend that taught me how to clutch kick on like Live for Speed, which is like a sim.
Yeah.
And yeah, he has fucking stories, dude. Everyone has stories about fucking Pfeiffer.
FDU is yeah. I mean, because when they were doing it, like they were going to China, they were doing all these like.
Dude, could you imagine going to China?
They said it was the
Pfeiffer?
Wildest thing in the entire world.
Did Matt Powers go too?
Powers, dude. Literal. They were all, and like it was a billionaire just funded them to go to China.
Can you imagine?
No, dude.
I would, okay.
They were wrecking the cars. They had one of the cars had no seatbelt in it. Like one of the cars had no seatbelt.
And they did it in like some stadium.
A stadium that they paved. They paved a stadium they had pavers. Do you know how expensive it is to pave a racetrack?
Yeah.
They did it for them. And then packed out the stands. Like
that must have been so fun.
Oh my God. I can only imagine. And they were like like loose
20.
water barriers. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
And they were probably partying.
They absolutely were partying.
Well, it's Pfeiffer. So.
It's Pfeiffer. It's Power. Power was a partier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, next subject. But like that was like a group of people. And like I can only wish to be like doing something like that. I mean, I'm aware of it fully, but like, no, to be part of that had to be something insane. Yeah. We missed that by like 3 years.
that if there's like
that China trip, I wonder if that one China trip that happened
that I'm jealous of in drifting. It might be that China trip.
Because like you look back at it, nobody knows what I'm talking about, you can look at Drift Alliance. They did DVD. I think in the first one.
I bought that from Circuit City when I worked there when I was like 16.
You worked at Circuit City too?
You worked at Circuit
Me
City?
too.
No way.
Yeah, till the end. All the way till the end, bro.
I got fucking fired like a fucking month before they closed.
Savages.
No, yeah, they're like, fuck your severance.
Dude. So I learned
how to do donuts in the Circuit City parking lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Good on you.
Yeah.
I just used to go through so many subwoofers. I had Audio Bond to the heaven. Remember Audio Bond with the flame amplifiers? Those were so sick.
Yeah.
So I stayed there till the end, and I was like, all right, not going to do this again. So I went to work for a company called Tweeter. It was also Hi-Fi Buys, and that lasted like 6 months until they were like,
car audio installer?
Yeah.
I was a car audio installer.
Hell yeah.
At Best Buy for 5 years.
We got a lot in common.
Yeah, we do.
We should hang out.
We have to. I'm staying at your house.
So if you like the vibe of what you're seeing right now, we get to host Nappy for the first time together.
Yeah.
We've never hosted together, and we get to host this Nappy Boy Drift event this weekend for T-Pain. And low key, we did not know how professionally organized it was until we started getting emails from like actual event organizers. Yeah. And like,
I'm a little worried.
Yeah, we're a little worried. We see our talking points. We see like on the schedule, it's like announcer needs to talk about this. And we're like, what is that? What is this?
Yeah. It's also in 2 days. We'll be fine. I asked him if we could drive the car, by the way. I was like, can Palmer and I like split the car? We won't interfere with the show or whatever. Left me on red.
We're gonna bring the car. We'll just ask for
Oh, yeah, we'll
forgiveness.
see.
Absolutely, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, they'll be. Well, I mean, if we gotta announce like the whole
We
time.
gotta-
Yeah, I mean, no comment, but
No comment. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We're just gonna try and scumbag some time. We're trying to show out for T-Pain. It's for us.
it is for us.
I want to. Have you ever spoken to T-Pain?
After he performed at Great Life Laguna, he was like walking from like the performance thing to like the green room or whatever, and I was like, "Great performance," and he like just kept walking. I was like, "Cool."
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
More
But
than
he
me.
looked really tired and like probably not.
She was just
He was
tired.
probably wasn't like, "Thanks, man." You know, like,
Can't wait to see you in Atlanta. Let's book you.
yeah. He didn't know. Who the fuck am I? I'm
Here
some
we
fucking
are.
random white dude in a fucking hat. Like,
What's up, you goofy fuck?
yeah.
All right,
Fuck
yeah.
this goofy motherfucker.
Yeah, well,
This
he's-
lanky, goofy motherfucker.
Yeah. Guess what? I'm back. And I'm here and I'm working for you now. Got him.
Hey, boss.
Shout out Hurt. Hurt's the one
Yeah.
who got us here. Absolutely.
Well, it
Bless
was
him.
your idea. And
Yeah,
then-
I got really excited one day because I was going to announce this one and they were like, is there anybody that you want to announce with? And I'm like, yeah, this guy on the other side of the country. Like he was like, Palmer, you were the only person I recommended. I've hosted with other people that are very talented, very capable and stuff. I just, at the time, I think I literally was listening to your podcast. And so
You're
like,
oh, maybe
oh, okay, maybe Palmer.
I thought,
and like it worked out.
I talked to her this year. Look, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't even think of you." And I was like, "Yeah, I only announce every final bout with you." And I was like, "Well, if you think I'm not like a good match for what you guys are trying to do, I understand, you know." And he was like, "Yeah, I'll think about it." And then like he was like, "Yeah, fucking make it happen."
How much fun is it to talk about drifting though?
It's the best. That's
It's
why I
also
do
the
this podcast.
And yeah.
And also the fucking stories that you've told me today are fantastic.
Oh my God, there's so many good ones. But like, yeah, that's the beautiful thing is like, again, I'm too old to skateboard. I'm too old to BMX. Drifting's what I got. Don't fuck it up for me. I think that's my message.
Yeah.
Stop being in so much drama and grassroots. Stop making pro less fun and less obtainable.
Yeah.
Let us have SRs in pro. Bring it back. I don't know, dude. I think drifting is like the best thing that's ever happened to motorsports, especially in my lifetime. And I just want to do everything I can to see it succeed all the way through. Like that's it. If I die, bury me in my car, A. And B, I just want to be known that like did something good for drifting. Something. Drifting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree.
Right? Like, of course, like my significant others, my family, my fiance, there's a whole much that I want to my legacy, but like realistically at the core of like my hobbies and who makes up me as Greg is like, I just want to know like drifting's going to be good.
Do you see yourself like younger you? Do you see like where you're at now within drifting, like, and just completely blown away? Is there anything that you like wish you could have done that you haven't?
I have this conversation sometimes, and I can confidently say every mistake, every embarrassing thing that I've ever done in my life, everything I've ever done, I would make sure I tell my younger self not to change anything, because I am so jazzed. My 13-year-old inner self is so jazzed at me right now because like I went to the first FD in Atlanta and I got this opportunity. Jared grabbed me and I'm skipping high school. I'm skipping class in high school. It's on like Friday and I'm skipping class. And he grabs me and he's working for McGuire's. His wife works for McGuire's and he's like, I just need you to do car crazy thing. Remember McGuire's Car Crazy? And he's like, so McGuire's had a TV show on Speed Network, Speed Channel or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're going to open it up, but you just need to say, I'm not just car crazy, I'm drift crazy. And like, I'm fucking freaking out. I just skipped class. I know who Jared Deanda is. He's only hosted one other event before that, but I was watching it, like I'm so hyped right now. I know McGuire's Car Crazy. I know McGuire. I know and I know that there's a camera in front of my face now, first time ever, and I'm like freaking out. And now I'm like, Jared's a homie.
Yeah.
Jared's like a homie.
Did you nail it?
Fucking, oh. Dude, this was one of those things where like it was on MySpace for the longest time and they fucking crushed MySpace. And I was like, God damn, I lost that clip. And I've looked on the internet forever for this clip. I nailed it. I don't know.
I would have fumbled out so hard. I would have been like, I'm crazy in cars.
It was just so stupid.
I love drifting.
I think I did. I think I said like at the end, he's like, you need to like be like, hey, and I think I said like, hey-o. Hey-o. Nailed it. I was doing improv. Like I was doing improv at 18. I got this. Fucking. I don't need your lines.
Give me a location.
Where you at, fans? But no, that was that. Yeah. And I looked back at a drift shop when I was 16 years old, picking up cigarette butts for this guy around his drift shop to now like this. Yeah. No, I'm fucking jazzed, dude. I'm so happy. I am arguably the happiest fucking drifter ever. I'll talk shit about FD and this and that and drifting 60 seconds and until I'm opinionated and I get it. But like for me, I'm like so happy. I am so, dude, we get to announce for T-Pain this weekend. I get to go drift my car at like Polecat with some of the, like the most influential drifters out there right now. Like I'm good as cast, like without a doubt, like one of the most drifter one-on-one centric podcasts out there. Like I'm fucking jazzed. I'm hyped right now.
That's good.
Yeah.
I love it.
I only had half a Red Bull. No, my younger self would be like, let's go, bud. Like, good job, Greg. Yeah. I hope your younger self would do the same shit.
Yeah, I think like drifting Laguna was like my younger self, like fucking being like, all right, good job.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is a massive accomplishment for anybody.
It's like you like got yourself to a point where you like can do something like that and then went out and like did a good job there. Like that's like, I think that was after the first one, that was like a high that I rode for a little bit. Like it was just like, holy shit.
Because you're deserving. Not only is it like it's not an event that you sign up for and then you show up to. It's you gotta, for grid life, especially Laguna Seca, it's not even an application. It's like you're driving or you're not. Do you get approached? Do you get that phone call?
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah.
Yeah. They wanted you there.
Not
only did you drive, but Grid Life wanted you there.
I made a joke. I was with Brandon and Will at Final Bout, and I was walking out of like the Grid Life like Chicago like hangout thing, and I was just like, "Whose fucking dick do I gotta suck to drive Laguna?" And Brandon and Will just start dying laughing, and Charlie is right there.
Oh, Charlie, yeah. There you go.
He just goes, "How good are you at sucking dick?" And Brandon and Will lose it, and I'm just like, I had like a couple beers, and I'm like, what? And they're like, ask him. And I was like, what? Yeah. And
that was like a cool thing, though. That's a massive thing. Even like Grid Life Midwest, you're on the West Coast.
Nick Swan reached out to Jason too. Like it would, I think it would have happened. But
that's
way,
the thing. But you get approached.
Yeah.
There wasn't an application you filled out online.
No. Yeah. So like, just I don't know those moments. You know, like that's like when you're like, okay, I need to like reevaluate how I feel about what I'm doing. And
well, you just got a Japan car too. Like you're onto another chapter.
I know.
I'm fucking hyped for you right now.
That's crazy.
That's a massive thing. Like a trip to Japan is a massive thing. For some people who go through their life, a trip to Japan would be like a bucket list.
Yeah, absolutely. The first time I went, I was like, the first time I went, I missed out on like on a drifting experience. Like I got to see drifting at Mahon, and I got to ride with like Naoki and stuff, which was like bucket list.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd go back. I thought this was like a one-time trip, you know? Like I thought like, okay, like I've done my Japan trip, like I spent all this money, like I'll probably never be able to do this again. And then going back with like friends and like the whole thing, it's just like, you know, you gotta, very fortunate. And if you can do it, like do it. And if you fucking, you know, I guess it's like, even if you don't think things are possible, like they can be. So like at least have that goal, and it like might get there. Like I don't know what my fucking goals are, but I think we should all elevate what our goals are. But also be realistic, I guess.
I think drifting teaches a lot of people patience. Yeah. You just can't build a car overnight and like come out there
and have it work.
And have it rip. You can't just start going to Japan and book these Japan trips and have these opportunities. Nobody can just come in and have the opportunities that you've had. Yeah. You have to be patient.
It takes 15 years.
Just be patient, be humble.
Yeah.
And like just craft your skill. Have fun doing it. Have fun drifting.
Yeah. Like how long have you been around drifting at this point?
I got my day. Okay, so first FD, I was skipping school, so I had to be 17 or 18.
Yeah.
First FD when we got the whole story I just told you, and from that first FD, I met the
That was
Team
like
Rowdy guys.
2004, right?
Yeah, 2004,
2005?
2005. Yeah,
Yeah.
2005, I think. 2005, and so yeah, I mean it's a long time. Bought my first drift car. I think it was like probably 2007 now, and then yeah, so a long freaking time.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny? Like I've never made 350 horsepower of any of my cars.
Yeah. I just broke that barrier like 2 years ago.
There you go, right? Right. But you have to be patient. Like you got to grow. And like by no means are either one of us like a wealthy individual.
No.
So, but we definitely weren't wealthy when we were 18 and we wanted all these things.
Fuck no.
Exactly. So we had to be patient to where we have a good job. We could take time off. You can even take time off to go to Japan, let alone the actual financials behind it. You have to like grow up as a freaking adult.
Yeah. Pay PTO or just
marry into money.
Yeah. It's a good option.
There's always that option.
For those of you out there, you know.
There's only a few options you're gonna get. You know? No, but that's it.
If you don't have rich parents, go find some rich in-laws, you know?
And then don't be upset if you can't afford Formula Drift either.
Yeah.
I
know some pretty well-off people who could not afford Formula Drift.
Yeah. There's a reason why there's only like 40 of them in the U.S.
Yeah, some of them aren't good.
And some of them aren't good. And even out of that, there's a lot of people not showing up. There's a dude who showed up in Aston Martin and didn't show up for like most of the rest of the rounds. He's in a freaking Aston Martin and they couldn't afford the rest of the rounds. Are you shitting me?
He was too busy like fighting off like weird like I don't know. I was gonna make like a James Bond joke, but it was fucking missed.
You can say whatever you want.
Yeah, super villains. I don't know. Fucking know.
Nailed it, guy.
It was so good. Should we go do stand up after that?
I would love to. My friends at the office say I'm the funniest one.
I'm a real hoot around the water cooler.
Son of a bitch. There's so much more I want to talk about, but I feel like we could be here all night.
We could. I got one more thing I want to talk to you about.
Please.
Okay. So I don't know much about Tyler and his impact on the community, but I know everyone who was in vicinity to him had a lot of really good things to say about him. Like, tell me about like who he was as a person and like what he meant to drifting in this area and just in general. And
well, I appreciate you asking that question because like you hit a sensitive spot where it's like it's been over a year now, but one of our best friends, and I speak for Koruworks as a whole, and the founder and owner of Koruworks passed away a bit over a year ago now of lung cancer. And he was one of the originators of drifting in the Southeast. So when I say originators, he was one of like if there was the first drift event, he was there driving at the first event, whatever that was, you know. And his roommate was Andy Sapp, a legend in the scene. You've seen him on Slide America. Tyler was on Slide America. This is like how far these guys go back. I may be an OG.
Slide America was like
it was it.
Yeah, I think I bought that at Circuit City also.
Jesus Christ, on VHS. Like, yeah, that's how old it is. Like Slide America is without a doubt the first drifting US documentary. Yeah, the first legitimate US documentary. And probably the only one, realistically, the only real drifting documentary in the US that's been done since. And Joey Redmond, Will Rogie, Josh Heron, Cotto, and Andy Sapp all filmed it. Well, they did a section in Atlanta and stuff, and Tyler was in it. But like, Tyler was like this dude where doesn't matter who nobody could ever say a bad thing about him. It doesn't matter where, when, who you're asking, if he was upset. Like nobody could say a bad thing about him because he was an absolute angel of a human being. And you stack that on top of how genuine he was and giving he was in the sport of drifting. Like my first drift event, I shit you not, my first drift event happened by accident. It's in the city of Atlanta, and I was valet parking, and I just drove my 240. Again, it was my daily at the time, over to go see the drifting in Atlanta. It was at Turner Field parking lot. I was in the parking lot, so I was just like, yeah, I'll go take my lunch break. Literally, I got like a 2-3 hour break, and I'll go see. And Tyler had just popped his transmission on his car, and he's like, man, I got one lap out there. And he spoke to the organizer and was like, can I give my spot to Greg? He's only going to be here for his lunch break, but I want him to get some laps in. And he gave me tires. And that my first drift event was because Tyler gave me his registration because he just broke and just like was like, what do you need? Like, and gave me tires, put me at 10 over my head, introduced me to like a lot of good friends I have to this day. You know, when I didn't have a helmet, he gave me his helmet. Like, I was just on my lunch break. I didn't ask. He's like, you want to take my spot? And like walked over, got me a wristband with me and said, I'm not driving the rest of the day. My car's broken. I only got one lap. Hear me out. Can you take my spot? Like, that was one of the first interactions I had with him. Let alone like it just exponentially grew more and more sincere and more genuine as I got to know him. And so Tyler opened up this shop, this Koruworks shop in 2011. And it was when it was like founded. 2010, I think, is when they bought the facility. And yes, it was a hangout for us, for all of us. And it was Tyler's way of kind of saying like, hey, I have a financial way to where like it, you know, just come and use my hangout, guys. Like, we never really questioned it. We never like, Tyler, where you get your money? It was never anything like that. Tyler wore like the most beat up ratty shoes and clothes you ever seen. In the same sense, he has like BBS RSs and backup BBS RSs and backup BBS RSs and then chrome dipped RSs, and like it's cool.
So he's
that's
taking
like,
care of his friends and his cars.
He was taking care of his friends and his cars. That's all it was. And for himself, fast food, shitty shoes, crappy clothes. And like his wife has like a clothing store that sells like very nice Nike SBs and like Billionaire Boy Club. Like, great. He could drip if he wanted to. And he never, ever dripped. It wasn't what he was. He was the most humble. Humble is what he taught me. It was like this humility of just like being yourself. And so when I came up from Injuku, I made a joke with Tyler of like, you know, like before I came up, I was like, man, I'd love to work here. And he's like, I've told my wife since day one that you're my bucket list hire. He's like, will you come work for me? And I was like, yeah, you know, and it was to the point where I took like a pay cut and stuff and like relocation, came up here, had to wait a year for my no compete and stuff like that from Majuku. And like, he was cool with it. And like, when I came here to work, it was like his eyes like glue up like lights and was just like, I'm so excited to build something with like my good friend Greg. And I'm like so today like struck by that, like being wanted and being needed at a job or a task or anything. Like, it's very rare that you meet somebody like that. And like, as I share this story will carry over with so many other people of just like how humble and nice and giving he was. I can guarantee you he's given his trailer, towed people in the middle of the night. I can guarantee you that like he's done some unspeakable things out of kindness. And there towards the end of him getting really sick, because cancer's slow and it sucks. Cancer fucking sucks, man. He just grew more genuine. He never once came to us and said, I'm dying. He never once came to us and said like his condition, if anything. I was supposed to go over to his house and watch Formula Drift with him one year. I took a year off FD. I dropped our drivers, all of us, the whole team. Everybody took a year off FD because he was getting really sick. And the bigger reason is I wanted to, for FD Atlanta, just go hang out with him at the house and watch the round. I just wanted to sit there, right? And I just wanted to enjoy it with him. Didn't give a shit about anything else. And I got a text in the morning from him. And it was like, hey, G, what's up? You know, yada, yada, yada. I'm not going to be able to say it's just not a good day, you know, something along those lines. And he's like, just go hang out at the event. You know, go to the event and just go hang out and say everybody hi. And I'm like, okay, cool. You know, I'm not just going to intrude. But like, come to find out, like, and he didn't even want to tell me, he was in the ICU and just got revived. Like, he passed away and they had to put the paddles on him. About an hour before he sent the text, and an hour after the text, he just wanted to make sure that I got the message that we're not going to watch FD together that day. Like, it's the most insane thing in the entire world. And he would, even when he was sick, he would just be like, man, I just want to get better and eat a slice of pizza. And he had holes in his intestines. The doctor said, you'll never eat solid food ever again. But he wouldn't tell us that. His wife had to tell us afterwards that like he had holes in his intestines. He was never gonna eat solid foods. We would go over there and we would watch like Japanese food tour videos.
Yeah.
And he would just be like, God damn, when I'm getting better, we're all gonna do our Japan trip. And like I was bringing him, I mean, he was pretty much like stuck in a chair. He was getting parts from Japan shipped to him. He had me one day. He's like, my works just got delivered. Can you go see if they're at the door? And they weren't at the door. And he's like, find my works. And like he's kind of chair ridden. And I'm running around houses around the neighborhood looking for his boxes. And like this is how bad it was. Like he was sick, man. He was fucking sick, still buying car parts. And even after he passed, there was still car parts showing up. And then there was like gifts for us that started to show up after he passed away. Like things were like, it would take a substantial amount of time for them to either be made or imported or whatever it was, like trinkets, nothing big, you know, but like a Mugen sticker, you know,
Yeah.
and it's to our name. And yeah, he spoke with his wife, Lauren, who now owns Koruworks, about keeping, you know, it afloat. And I don't think it's for him. I think it's for us. I'm sorry. I'm like, I'm all like crying on this podcast. But it's a very sensitive subject. So it's one thing to lose a friend and like go through life and always have that pain. And it's another thing to like lose a friend and like try and keep a portion of the legacy alive.
Yeah.
Because like
I can't imagine.
No, I ask all the time. I'm like, you know, am I making you proud, T? You know?
Yeah.
And he was such an influence in the scene too, to where, you know, it's like it's holding a glass ball and just making sure you don't drop it. It's an amazing opportunity for me and all the guys here at the shop. And I just had the conversation of like talking to like my child self and like saying, don't change a thing. But I couldn't be here without Tyler.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to say that same statement if it wasn't for Tyler.
I think you're making him proud.
Thanks, dude. It's pretty cool. It's a fucking Koruworks. If you've never been here, it's a really cool shop.
It's the coolest shop I've ever been to.
Thank you. It's a very cool vibe, and we're all drifters, and we're all good homies, and we've all been friends since we were kids. We all have a golden opportunity, and we know that we have a golden opportunity, and so we treat it that way. We don't take it for granted. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks, T. Thank you for this. Thank you for giving me a chance. Yeah. Yeah. Every time I talk about him, I cry. I'm like, you know, it's because he deserves it. He has a massive part of my heart. Yeah. Yeah. There's, it's funny. Like you commented about my rear valance on my car. My rear valance underneath my taillights is covered in stickers. And when Tyler passed, that's all I wanted was his old rear valance that's covered in stickers.
Oh, that's from his car.
So I never even painted another valance. And the guys were really nice and made sure that was the last thing I put on the car. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So that's his. Yeah, a lot of this stuff is his. I don't even know what I'm talking about, dude. He was, a lot of this shit's his. He was like the style king, and I just like inherited like some of the drip. Like he dripped onto me.
His cars
they're insane. Yeah. So like, let's not talk about a sad fact. Let's talk about Tyler when he was alive and driving. There is like very few people, especially in America, that build drift cars this caliber. Derek Pompeo is one of them. Derek D-Pom. His US 15 is absurd. And, you know, Austin, Ostezi, like these are all friends of Tyler's. They all like, you know, they were like these style guys where they would just hunt. You know, the Reagan Masters would be like plus 2 millimeters the wrong size. And they'd be like, no, I can't buy them. You know, like that's what it was perfect. And the meticulousness. And Tyler would buy, he's done this multiple times. He'd buy like a hood for a car. And like it would show up to Koruworks and would be like, you don't own an R33. And he'd be like, nah, but I always want this hood, so I'm gonna buy an R33. So and then he would build the car around this part. And like that's how meticulous it was. Yes, financially capable of doing it. Awesome. Good on you. Tell me if I had the opportunity, I'd be doing the same shit.
Yeah.
Dude,
but not everyone can pull that off either.
no.
Like there is an art to it.
There is. He built his own cars. 100% built his own cars. We were here to help him along the ways and stuff. But like, no, these are all. He's over there sweating, dude. He'd be over there chemo lung coughing, like trying to bolt shit up to his car, and we were just like, "What the fuck are you doing, dude?" Like, yeah, it was. I mean, and like, God,
happy place.
Yeah. And like this happened during COVID too, like lung cancer COVID, and like we were all scared and stuff. So we're all like fully masked up. Like he's got his own quarantine section, and we're just like, just happier than cows. Just so freaking happy that we got to spend that time together, But no, his meticulousness is absolutely absurd. And like to this day, like stuff you would never even know. Like you're like, his car's Motec, and I'm like, yeah. So cool. Yeah, just cause he's like fucking, it's an SR car with Motec. Like there's not much cooler. Yeah. Fucking baller. Yeah. And then you're like, oh, the SR is a Tomei 2.2 stroker kit. Yeah. It's like a full Tomei long block. You're like, oh, it's awesome. And then he colors on the front of it with a crayon. Puts a little smiley face on his edge. I don't know if you saw it. It's adorable. Like he's the cutest. And no, he's still sticker bombs. There's not many people that build cars that caliber that are still comfortable and like sticker bomb, like fun stickers.
I did it a little late, and I got a lot of heat for it.
Really?
Yeah. It's cool. It looks cool.
It's fucking cool.
We could probably even bring that back these days. It's been dead for so long.
I love it.
Yeah.
Screw it, dude. Yeah. Like it's personality. I think it's
that's the first sticker bomb thing I've seen in probably 10 years. So I'm hyped on it.
Fuck it. Fuck anybody wants to give me shit about it too. Yeah. I'll fight you. Yeah. I'll punch your mom.
Now that we know the fucking backstory.
You want to say something about my car and you talk about shit about I'll punch your mom. Like fuck you. Right now I'm all crying, teary eyed. I'm like, somebody says
come at me.
Come at me. No, and so yeah, through Tyler's creations. And so I appreciate he was a legend. I really appreciate that conversation. Yeah, he is the founder of Core, and we built something together, but without a doubt, like I inherited his drip, his style. It bled onto me. Without a doubt. How I was building cars before and stuff, they were cool, they were creative and stuff, but like he made me look at things differently. Fully. Yeah. Yeah. Fucking legend. That's my boy. Yeah. I would say right now, like, yeah, I said this like once before and like when I talk to somebody, but like if this is a good opportunity for me, it should actually be him in the seat.
100%. I think that's why I asked you about him.
Yeah.
Because
I would force you to put him in the seat.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you were here and he was here, I would be like, no. Like, cool. Yeah, I got a story, but like you need to talk to Tyler. Yeah. Thank you.
Of course.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. How many minutes are we at?
The perfect amount.
Yeah. 2 hours 45.
Is that good?
That's great.
Hell yeah.
You absolutely killed it.
Well, you killed it. Thank you. I'm just like honored to be part of this. Thank you for doing this for drifting. Like putting a light on drifting.
There's too many fucking cool people in this world to not have people know who they are, like on a personal level.
Yeah.
Like, that's like the drive for this. And like, it's a little selfish, but like I enjoy it. Like I really enjoy getting to know people and like learning their stories and like learning like, what it took to be where they're at and like all that stuff is like, it's interesting to me. And also like, I think it helps a lot of people out there like know that they can get to where certain people are at if like, you stick with it or whatever. It's just like,
dude, we both started at Circuit City.
Yeah.
We both started at the same exact place.
Yeah. I was like some shit party kid.
Same.
Yeah. Same. Buying fucking
stealing butt connectors and stuff. We had unlimited zip ties.
I did have unlimited zip ties. I used to work on my S13 in the Best Buy install bay. I think I did my knuckles at my Best Buy install bay.
I wire tucked my EK. I like moved the fuse box and stuff. They're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Amp install." I'm like pushing the fuse box inside underneath the fucking airbag. Yeah,
dude. I got in a lot of trouble for that. Also, because I forgot, I've never told this story on the podcast. Because when I installed them, I had some like fucking rando cut knuckles. And like the guys at the track were like, once you can link the course like 3 times in a row, then you can go knuckles.
Okay,
that was
cool.
like the rule.
It always was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not anymore. Now you get
buy a pro car if you can afford it.
Wise fabrication or whatever.
Wise fabrication.
Wise fab. Right away. Anyway, so we put the shit on, and like to get out of the bay, you had to make like a pretty gnarly turn. So we got to back it up, and the shit just locks.
Oh,
it just over centers, and the fucking like steering wheel.
You can't get it back. Yeah, you're fucked.
Like completely loaded up.
No
like,
bump stops.
I was like
that.
stuck in the fucking install bay. Like
somebody jack me up. I don't know. And meanwhile, like this is like literally the store is gauged off of performance of like how many jobs you do today. Managers are getting printouts of like how many things are coming into the bay. They're just like
stupid drift cars,
no
like,
installs because broken knuckle in front of the bay door. But no, anybody could do it realistically in drifting if you stay humble. Yeah,
I couldn't even parallel park it anymore.
My the Civic that I was wire talking, I had to leave it there for like 2 days because I couldn't finish it. I was like fucked up. Fucked up. One day I was like installing something on my car, and like I blew an ejector overlink, and like I didn't know it was blowing, and like it was just blowing gas like everywhere inside the bay, and that's what got me fired. Because they realized like I was doing mechanic work at that point.
Like, why does it smell like gas? You're like,
amplifier.
My boss drilled through the gas tank on a diesel Mercedes.
Oh,
because they're on the back seat, and he was like mounting an amp, and he like mounted it to the fucking gas tank.
Did you report it or did you let it go?
Oh, the fire department had to come.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, that was a fun day.
I low key put like a little dimple in someone's roof from an overhead. I screwed through someone's roof. I 100% screwed through someone's roof. 100%. Those are hard to judge. Okay, those are hard to judge, right? Yeah, you're like, I think
you learn a lot about self-tappers being a car audio installer.
Oh yeah, and then what you screwed up when it grabs a second time. You're like, I got it. Oh no, there it is. That's the roof. Do you know it was so common to drill through gas tanks? Actually, it was pretty common.
Yeah. I didn't get a single damage claim.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I got really lucky. I broke a lot of shit. I had to go to the fucking. Yeah. I knew a lot of the dealership like parts departments in the area.
Yeah.
Like I'd be like, oh fuck, gotta go to BMW and get some stupid light bulbs.
God. I got fired from Best Buy twice.
You worked at Best Buy also?
Dude, I was about to, they kept closing on me. All the car audio install shops kept closing on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't leaving them. But Best Buy, yeah.
Geek Squad, baby.
Geek Squad. It went far too. I was like, I'm MECP certified.
So was I.
Yeah, really? Basic. Oh.
Yeah, not advanced. I never got that advanced.
First class.
I still get emails asking me to renew my cert.
Really?
Yeah. They're like, hey, you want to read?
I had first class certification. I was one of the like 36 Best Buy employees that had first class certification.
No, you fucking weren't.
Yeah.
That's sick.
I think they would fly me in to do diag and stuff. That's why they fired me twice. Because they were like, shit, he's actually got value to me. And then they hired me back, and I would like bounce around to try and help people.
Oh shit, were you like oh
yeah, and then I started working for Chase Bays. I was roommates with Chase, and we started Chase Bays. Yeah, because I knew
what the fuck? You just gonna drop that now?
So yeah, that was a portion of my life. And then I ran partnerships. We started Grid Life. Yeah, Chris Stewart. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I worked for Grid Life for the longest. Yeah, there's a lot of loops in there, but yeah.
Yeah, we might need a fucking part 2, dude. Let's get dinner and come finish.
Let's get dinner. I'm hungry.
I'm hungry too. All right, dude.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, did we get that? Or we need to triple back this up? This fucking top quality podcast right here.
Fucking podcast. Yeah, no, thank you for coming to Georgia. Bunch of rednecks out here. We're gonna take them to a redneck event. This is your first time in Georgia?
I came to Atlanta before once.
Low key, we have like the world's biggest KFC, and like they're following me into work today, and I see them like taking pictures of the big chicken. We have a giant KFC that's got a moving beak and eyes. It's a giant chicken.
I did. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, Laura, take a picture for me.
It's like 8 a.m. or whatever. Like their time, it's like 4 a.m. and they're like, and there's this giant chicken. And I just see them in the car like, let's greet at the big chicken.
I was making sound effects.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, good on you.
Yeah.
Good,
all right.
Love you.
Thanks for doing this. Love you too, dude. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.